Hey everyone, welcome back to the Spring 2015 North American Challenger Series. I'm David Victurli. Alongside me is the wonderful Aiden Zyrian Moon. And did you know it's been over 9,000 minutes since we last saw you guys in the NA Challenger scene?
What? 9,000?
Yes, in fact, that's the case. Now let's take a look at today's action. First up, it's CLG Black going up against enemy Esports. Then TSM Darkness will face off with Final 5, and we will conclude our broadcast day with Team Fusion going head-to-head with TDK. Now, 5 games have been played for every team now. We are halfway through the Spring Challenger season. Here are the standings. Enemy Esports is in first place. They have been all season long at 4-1. Got a quick tie for second with Final 5 and TDK at 3-2.
Then it's CLG Black and Team Fusion knotted up in 4th place with TSM Darkness in sole possession of last with only a single victory. Only the top 4 teams will qualify for the Spring playoffs with a guaranteed LCS spot the line.
Yeah, winner of playoffs in the LCS for sure in the summer split. Now, the regular season is a 5-week, 10-game round robin where the teams play each other twice every week. Here's what happened last night when enemy Esports faced off with CLG Black with a share of first place up for grabs.
And as you can see here, a little bit of a reverse there. We did see NACS in the mid lane on that Victor. And anyway, you can see the pick comp here that came out. The CLG Black's comp is actually correct on this screen. You can see it there. This is a composition that wants to get to your backline, but they got to the backline, but then they were able to trade places, and they got their backline completely blown up. But that's pretty much irrelevant. We're going to get into the game right now and show you how the action went down.
Started actually with a lot of really good plays by FLICKR. He actually snuck by all of the Callista Spectres. So CLB are just baiting. They're keeping him interested. Then saying, okay, Stick say, oh crap, Summoner Heal. And then here comes Vi.
Yep, right into them. Body drop. Had a good black shield there, and that's going to be a theme of these replays too, is that his black shields have been on point this game. But FLICKR early is just taking advantage of the aggressive lanes of enemy.
Yeah, and these guys never really warded. You had some Spectres on one side. This one just no wards at all. Good job saving the Assault and Battery by Vi to make sure he can chase after the flash, but yet counterplays too.
Yep, body drop once again, getting thrown in, and there's the black shield that's going to put Kenny in a lose-lose situation. He has to eat the Soul Shackle, and he can't peel this Morgana because of the lack of magic damage to break it, which allows Otter to just continue the chase.
I gotta say, Callista Morgan's one of my favorite duo lanes right here. Quick 2-0 despite being down 0-1 in the laning phase. Just Zerkree's really all you need to win that fight.
Right over the wall there with the Q, and this is going to be another perfect black shield onto NACS. It doesn't get popped by Lissandra, and he eats the Vi ultimate, but he's immune to it, and he turns it around on Stixxay, who's immediately obliterated by Victor.
Yeah, the Abyssal Scepter early from Victor really helping him stay alive. Level 10 on Body Drop meant he got a level 3 black shield on him. This point is pretty much cleanup there for enemy, and it's really is the start of a big comeback for them. They're up 5K after this fight.
Yeah, and CLB, they had a pick comp, but enemy had zone control with Victor, Morgana, and the Maokai. This is a fight that started 4v5. Stixxay just runs up now, and by the time he gets there, FLICKR has already been taken off the map. He started this game 5-1, and he ends it 5-4.
So wonderful place and wonderful plays right here by enemy. This is the game-winning push. A couple more Morgana shoves, why the heck not? Attack someone in, but at this point the game is just very snowballed. The 7-1 and 5 Otter doing a whole bunch of work. 8-1 and 6 now, but really not much else you can do. Kill the Nexus, and that was enemy Esports making their record 4-1 after this game.
Slightly different game here from enemy. They didn't have the early pressure. It was all from CLG Black. And then enemy took a couple good team fights with the peel back, and the black shields from Body Drop were definitely what kept them in this game.
Yeah, I do really like how Victor's being played right now. He's this sort of mid-range burst mage. He's almost like how Karthus is like the mid-range sort of mage carry. Just Victor, you have to actually kill him first, whereas, you know, killing Karthus didn't matter too much. But I like that he's back in, or actually now actually in the gameplay here. Yeah, and overall, really good play. FLICKR, you can see his scoreline 5-4-1. He did get his team ahead early. Typical CLG right there. Good early game, but not enough really done by these guys. Mid-game went enemy.
Otter's scoreline there also doesn't reflect the way he was playing that game. He was even in CS to the Sivir of Stixxay, but Otter was completely pressuring him the entire game. When I watched it, he's constantly chunking Otter to Stixxay to about half HP over and over and over again. But, you know, props to Stixxay for being able to farm it out on that side.
Yeah, but overall, though, enemy Esports looking amazing. And actually, joining us to talk about this match is the manager, Angel Vigil. Welcome to the show, man. How you doing?
I'm doing really good. How are you?
Pretty awesome, actually. So I got to talk to you because we've seen you around for like basically ever in the Challenger season, Challenger Series, I should say. Multiple teams, like a dozen or so over the last couple of years. What drives you to keep managing these Challenger teams?
You know, I think I really enjoy it. I've been like you said, I've been doing this for almost 4 years now. I want to say since before the LCS was even a thing. I really enjoy it, and I think for me the main reason I keep doing it is because I keep getting really good opportunities to do it.
And you've been saying you've been getting all these opportunities. This is a team now that you have with Enemy who are in first place. Is this the team with the best opportunity to make it into the LCS? And if so, why?
You know, every time that I've gotten really close, I've said, you know, this is my chance, this is my shot to get in, and the teams have always been really good. But you know, there's something different about this team. You can see it a lot in our scrims and in our play. The team's really confident. The team is really the team really meshes well, and it really shows in our play on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So yeah, I think this is our shot. We have a really great support staff. We have a really great organization backing up a really great roster, and I think that's the recipe for success.
Well, you guys have actually had a couple of interesting ingredients in that recipe. Inox is a player you've managed for a while. He used to be a top laner. He's now with you in the mid lane. Are you surprised that he's actually done so darned well in his new role this year?
No. I'm not surprised. I've worked with Inox for over a year before he joined Evil Geniuses, and the kid is good. He's good at League of Legends, and you know, I don't think the top for him was. I think he played it out of necessity. He played it because the teams that he was able to get on were they had mid laners, or they had other roles, and that was his shot at getting on top tier teams and really showing his stuff. So I think after coming out of the LCS and stepping down from Evil Geniuses, he realized that I have a lot more leeway in the teams that I can get, and I'm gonna take advantage of that. I'm gonna go into a role that really showcases my ability. And you know, when he stepped down from Evil Geniuses, I literally messaged him on Skype that same day. I want you to try out for my team. I want you on my team again. So yeah, I knew he was gonna be good, and I was really confident in picking him up.
Now, definitely confidence being one of the key traits then of your team, and you with your players as well. Final question for you. You're in first place right now. You look to have a pretty good run for the playoffs, and if you get first place, you join the LCS. What is the biggest hurdle for you guys from transitioning from right here to a few weeks down the line where you actually would qualify? What keeps you from being number one?
For being number one in the NACS or in the LCS?
Yeah, what would keep you? Like, what is your biggest hurdle to get through to make sure you take that number one spot and qualify?
You know, I think at this point, the way that we've been playing, if we can just keep doing it, I think the number one spot is ours for the taking. I don't know if that's arrogant to say, but I think as long as we keep playing the way that we're doing and keep playing our game, we'll take that one spot. But if we get ahead of ourselves, if we start preparing too soon for LCS, then I think that's when things can start getting a little jumpy.
All right, well, fair enough. Angel, thank you very much for your time. Good luck in your match tonight, and with any luck, we'll be seeing you in the LCS as well in the summer split.
Thank you.
All right, so we're gonna get ourselves into the game here. We, of course, did see a little while ago that Enemy Esports did win the first game against CLG Black. They're 4-1. They're the top team in Challenger right now. They're the team to beat right here. Coming into Game 2, CLG Black have had a sort of middling season so far, 2-3. They could go top 4, they could go bottom 2, and picking up wins over Enemy would be a good way to show that they're going to get to the playoffs.
Yeah, and right now, though, between this matchup, CLG Black have a very eerily similar playstyle to CLG Prime in the LCS.
Yeah.
Really good early game. They have a top laner who pulls bans, who can play some carry things. His champion pool's a little smaller. They also have an AD carry who goes really hard and flashes in for the backline sometimes, though. So extremely similar. But the fact that they have this really good early game was very surprising to me, because Enemy usually doesn't give up early game leads off of Trashy making a bunch of early plays.
Yeah.
FLICKR actually had his number that game and was at the scene of the crime minutes before he was. So that's their key to victory here. But they also fall into the pitfall that CLG falls into, where their team fight needs work. And that's Enemy's strongest point.
That's true. So we'll see if FLICKR can grow them that lead, and then these guys can actually keep it by fighting correctly, kind of the big thing they've got to do. You talked about Lurlo a bit too. I just want to solidify that a bit. Yeah, Aurelia and Rumble being the bans that were aimed at him. He also mains a bunch of Riven, but in my talking to him, he says Riven's no good and competitive, though I badgered him into maybe playing it here, but unlikely. But the repeated Rumble and Aurelia bans, all the same. Meanwhile, Enemy Esports.
Triple ban.
Yep. Gonna see 3 bans again at Trashy. He played Lee Sin for it last time.
Yeah, this was what was banned against him yesterday, last night, and he picked Lee Sin.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, is there's so much still open. J4 still open. Vi still open. They're going to first pick the Lissandra for themselves here on CLG Black side. Easy did have that champion previously, and he didn't have a great showing. 2-5-1 on that yesterday.
Jay, well, maybe he can sort it out here. Certainly, CLG Black getting hard engaged can help them pick up team fights. That, like, look, just on a guy, blow him up. Maybe we'll be able to work it out for the rest of the team fight. So, still keeping some similar champions. Enemy Esports once again looking for that Morgana for body drop. Is this every single game for him now? Like, he's maybe had... Nope, every single game. 6 Morgana games in a row. And they're still not trying to ban that away from him.
I mean, it's how they function. Body drop hasn't been tested on a different champion. They'll triple ban Trashy. They'll ban Inox as champions. It's like, whatever. They have to get rid of those. He can play Morgana every game. Nobody's throwing bans at him and trying to see what else he plays. He is a very good Thresh player as well. He has a very deep champion pool. But if he's just going to stick with the formula, then it's fine.
All right, and of course, more formula in peeling for Otter, the current KDA leader of the Challenger Series right now. They've got a Maokai as a good defensive tank, some good lockdown, and honestly, even if you tried to dive Otter, those 2 champs are great at keeping your backline alive when this dive does come in, and CLG Black, unsurprising, more fuel to the fire. Jarvan also jumps in. Graves helps them all die. Yep. CLG going in.
CLG Black going forward. Another composition that wants to just get through your front line, get to your back line, and blow them up. But it's another body drop Morgana. He's really good at that champion. He'll be able to block an ultimate from Lissandra. He can block a knockup from J4, no magic damage there to pop it. So if they go with a very low magic damage comp here from CLG Black, they won't be able to get through the Black Shield in time to lock down their target.
Yeah, well, at the very least, they picked a better matchup. If they assume Callista comes back in for Otter, Graves better in lane, Jarvan less bad to Black Shield than Vi. So, like, you can see CLG Black, but they kept the bans the same. They're picking with better knowledge what their opponents are doing, so it would fit in a little bit better. That said, of course, enemy don't have to play Callista. Oh, look, a Sivir Hover. She's pretty good against Graves. In fact, this team, if they went for a very similar comp, just subbed in Callista versus Sivir, you'd have a great team fighting team that can pick their battles very cleanly.
Yeah, I think they're going to hold off on it still. Like, Callista's still a very good champion to pick into this, especially since you just get Cataclysms, you hop right out of it. True. No problem there. He just has to get through the laning phase against the Graves. And he did a really good job yesterday of having a really good matchup against the Sivir for himself. Yeah. That's one of the easier matchups for Callista. That's
true. So the question now is, they've blind picked their Victor, that they assume it is Lissandra mid. There's always the chance of the flex pick for CLB. Lorlo, though, does play a little bit of Lissandra in solo queue, so there's a chance he does swap that one around. And in fact, they swap a little bit. Kennen coming in and Annie support.
There's actually a lot of interesting interactions here with Victor mid. Victor mid is probably the mid-range trading champion that is tier 1 right now.
Yeah.
Because he gives himself a shield, he takes damage from you, and then it empowers his next auto attack too.
Yeah.
Also, if Lissandra's trying to come in on him, he just throws down his gravity field where her E indicator is.
It's true.
So there's a lot of tools he has against Lissandra, and they're both mid-range mages. Lissandra cannot damage him unless she is able to be returned damage on.
That's true. I guess you could maybe Q through a wave, but like that's
he can EU at that time too.
That's fair. Yeah, you're right. You're always in trade range. So a shorter range mage in Lissandra facing a shorter range mage in Victor. One thing I'm surprised by is that we're still only seeing Annie as a support. Like, we're seeing the Kennens come in for the top lane, like more mages coming out, but Annie's still a pure support right now in competitive League of Legends from what I've seen. And judging by solo queue, I don't feel like it's going to last too long. I'm seeing more and more Annies come out in the solos, but that's not in this game. Doesn't really matter here. Enemy Esports to make their last choice, and they pick some long range in here. So Tristana, for extra siege power, will be played by Otter.
I actually like that, the fact that they're going to go for turrets here, and the fact that it's a little safer than a Callista, because Kennen's going to get on you, Kennen's going to pop the Black Shield, and he can pop the Black Shield. A lot of things here. So if he gets stunned, he can still leap away if he buffers that ability ahead of time.
Yeah. Tristana also a good counter pick to Kennen specifically, in that you just knock him right back out. He's like, Slicing Maelstrom! Boop! Darn! Nope. Never mind. So Zhonya's timing going to be really important to not get hit by Buster Shot. I hope we get to see that interaction once or twice during this game. But Enemy Esports, I like this because you talked about turret sieging power. And then if you do go in Buster Shot and the aforementioned Victor like Maokai Morgana, difficult team fight to deal with from enemy esports.
Yeah, the team fight here from enemy esports is a little like zone control-y. They want like the Morgana, the Maokai, the Victor, very great zone control. And they also have some disengage with Trashy. So their team fight's really good, but I actually think CLB has an even scarier comp.
Really?
Like Graves, Annie, Lissandra, Ken, and J4.
Jarvan.
That's a pile on top of you composition.
Yeah.
They want to be right in your face and on top of their carries immediately. And there's really no way to stop them from doing that. You can get one person out, but the rest of them are just going to pile in with stuns. All aboard!
I like that quite a bit. Yeah, I guess we have to see. I mean, because of the early Morgana pick by Body Drop, there's no Black Shield to like prevent the Lee Sin kick, Tristana kick. So we will see. I do think there are the elements for enemy. So you like CLB's comp. I actually like enemies more.
I like the comp for team fighting, but I feel like
you just think CLB is scarier.
Enemies comp, yeah. I just think that CLB's comp is scarier for team fighting.
That's fair.
I feel like enemies is better for zone control. Like if they get to the dragon first and stuff, I think this is a better comp for that.
But they can't force the issue.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah, I feel you on that one.
Like they're gonna have to wait for CLB to come into them, and then they counter engage by zoning off certain people from the fight.
With the exception of Morg binding, that's their one way in. They can't force it otherwise.
Take it.
Take it. Do it. I mean, it reveals nearby teammates. He knows no one's there.
This, by the way, this is 5.4, so rip big wards. I missed those guys already.
Oh, that's true.
They always look so cuddly too.
Really?
They just look. They were
It's
like,
like
they
big,
were
like
huge. They were like, look at me, and there wasn't like big, like intimidating. It was like big. Look at me and how dopey and huge I am. I loved them. I loved them. I actually regretted killing them.
Dopey, huge wards.
Take
I
the
never
wards,
got
not
that
just
feeling
for
out of those wards, to be honest, Dave.
I loved them. They were great.
Actually, I found it really ironic that you as a jungler liked wards.
Yeah.
Don't they prevent what you want to do?
So like,
Which is ruin everyone else's fun?
I started getting the green trinket because I was like, I just want more wards so I can place more of these guys. Like, I don't want sweeper anymore.
Did you really turn off your ward skins?
Yeah, I did.
It's fair.
Just for that.
I used the Draven ward.
Like I said, 5.4, so Veigar and Zillion are both disabled for this. Jarvan has some changes, so think hard. He's going to start with 7 less armor and then eventually have 19 less total. So a little moderate tweak to him.
Yeah. Certainly a bit weaker. Is going to take a lot more damage in his jungle Pathic. Kenny already pulling blue buff. They're clearly a little bit practiced in this. And right now, the level 2 Jarvan will keep on jungling. Trashy looks like he shared experience a little bit because he only. Oh no, he didn't actually start ground.
You want to, like you can see here, immediately the supports are showing up mid lane. They don't want to be around their AD carries soaking experience until later.
Kenny's got a stun.
Oh, he's got a flash. He's got a stun.
Flash Q.
Woo!
I like that he started Q, found a way to stack up the stun, and then there's no way you can actually dodge it. You must flash to get away.
Yep. And he trades his own flash for Inox's, and Inox is going to have constant pressure on him. So the next time Kenny comes around, if he does, this is going to make Inox have a worse situation. But he did bring cleanse. Right? So next stun that comes out, he'll just cleanse it and walk away, and he might not get burst, but he does have that possibility.
Yeah, we've got to be afraid. You can't cleanse anything that Jarvan does to you, so be afraid. Kenny does tank the first few dragon shots, and it will be the first dragon 3 minutes, 11 seconds in, going to CLG Black right here.
To be a little honest, too, I'm surprised he didn't cleanse, because it has about a 100-second cooldown less than Flash.
Yeah, I guess maybe he was just afraid of the follow-up from Jarvan.
And the less damage you take, the better.
That's true.
So
you want to get in that early lane. If you lose a wave this early, you immediately lose all your trades. Thinkcard, though, unable to do his own red buff, so
it's that
a
7
very
armor.
slow start.
That's 7 armor. No.
Sure. No, I'm not disagreeing with you. It definitely affects him. But 2 greens and a pink ward bought by Thinkcard. He's actually going to take a long time before he gets any real items in. Kenny, early defensive pink ward. So we can watch if there's any secondary invade, since that's still the weak side of the map right now. And in fact, there is going to be a secondary invade.
There's a lot of possible plays here because enemy putting on the pressure very early on. They can just walk straight up because they're starting to zone them out. They do have a ward in this brush. They're going to see body drop.
This felt like a miscommunication. Body drop could have dark bound the scuttler to make that drop a little bit faster. They take a little bit more time.
There they go. They can pile straight through. There's the flash.
Flash rocket jump slows down Lorla. They exhaust Kenny, though. They want him as the target. Annie, of course, has already lost her flash. They know that, and they give the kill away. Almost Otter. It's actually Flares who gets it. Enemies start out well.
Enemy with the early game pressure matching sorry, I do that every time. Counter Logic Gaming Black. But look at this in the mid lane, not to be outdone.
Easy
No flash
cleanses
here.
away the root, but guess what? It's a lot of damage coming in towards NACS. He's the guy who cleansed, and Easy gets the kill. A quick trade back. You mentioned his flash being down. That shows right there.
Yep. It's one of those things where if you'd use the cleanse on the first one, we'd have your flash available for the next one. He was still sitting on biscuits too. So hindsight's 20/20, but you can see in the top lane, they're still applying pressure. Lorlo has his flash available, so does Flares.
Flash root comes in, but Kenny's right behind him though. Will it be enough to stun him back? Looks like no. They just get his flash and trade 1-for-1 on that.
They're immediately sieging the turret though with the Tristana. 3 members here versus 4, but they do have Easy wrapping around the side.
And ThinkArt's here as well. It's going to be a 4 versus 4. Easy wants in. He does have his flash.
There they go.
Gets on in, gets a 2-man knockup. They keep going for this one, but will it be enough damage? Easy's going to lose his life for this one. Otter got the reset on the rocket jump. The binding hits. Lorlo's in a really bad spot. He's going to go down as well. Do they want ThinkArt on top of this one? No, just a 2-for-0, so CLB heavily overextend.
5 minutes in, 4 people versus 4 in the top here, and they end up with 2-for-1. 2-for-0 trade, actually.
Yeah.
Overall.
It was a 1-for-1 as various people died elsewhere on the map, and then just the 2-0 on the overchase. And CLB wanted that fight. Easy flashed in, and it just was not the fight to have. Inox doesn't even have to match the roam, and makes Lissandra lose a full wave of minions right here.
Yeah, the fact that Stixxay was bottom lane just farming away allowed Inox to not have to show up to that fight. He backed, so Easy roamed and tried to apply pressure. Gets rid of the Black Shield, flashes in for the root, but immediately gets locked up by Flares, and Flares, that was a big part of that, is that they immediately jump on that target. That's the communication that enemy has, and you're talking about it, their team fight is their strongest point. If you group up for team fights at 5 minutes, you get to accentuate that strength.
Yeah, they picked the target, they bursted him down. The rocket jump resets definitely helped quite a bit, and it was just a great team fight. So Enemy Esports stymieing CLG's normal advantage and certainly succeeding in creating their own. This is the scary team right here in Challenger, man. They are 4-1. They're already poised with a nice 1,000 gold lead in their 6th game of the North American Challenger Series. We'll see that Stixxay chilling in the bot lane the whole time. 60 minions, only player without any kill participation or death participation in the game. He's been farming. That bot lane turret's almost dead. Yeah.
Stixxay's trying to get his carry pants on for this. But meanwhile, they're down 1,000 gold. Don't know if he can make that up in CS. It'd be very, very difficult to.
He got like 200 back compared to Tristana. Not exactly as much, to be fair. And we can see top lane is taking some damage. Tristana, by the way, one of the only AD carries that actually has a way of bypassing the sort of pseudo-Doran shield, since it actually doesn't block damage. I think it's called Fortification. It doesn't block damage from explosive shots. So she actually, if she's on a post, it's actually one of the better turret killers. But now it's past 7 minutes. Auto attacks are full power anyway. BF sword there on Otter, gonna knock those down fast.
Yeah, and for those of you who don't know, Fortification on turrets makes it so that before 7 minutes, the outer ring of turrets all take 30 less damage from champion basic attacks.
Yeah. That's why they die so darn slowly. But now the first one does go down. The
used
recall
his,
for Otter goes
his lightning rush.
Lorlo. Yeah, lightning rush is used through the binding. Ults him in. Nice. Otter knew the damage. Got the burst out. Now bot lane did get traded back, but it's a huge lead overall for enemy.
Otter is slowly taking over this game with the 100% kill participation, the BF sword on him already. He was able to shove that lane back up and immediately get the pressure on it. Whereas you can see in bottom lane, Stixxay is yet to back. So now he's going to back and try to just cash in on all of that. But it's one of those situations where you lose that top lane turret, you lose the bottom lane turret, and you call it a wash, but you gave up an extra kill.
Yeah, you did. The gold is really bleeding away from CLG Black right now. You're going to see the recall come in and easily match items. Otter, despite not getting to completely free farm, is ahead in gold compared to Stixxay. You can see the boots of speed, little brown bags down there, keeping him ahead. And the question is, with this really strong sort of early game-ish team comp, right? Like Kennon's not 6.
No.
Right? There's no Cataclysm either. So any given team fight's actually pretty darn good for enemy esports. And with this early game, mid-game Tristana sieging power, I don't see CLG Black really stopping that. You can see Otter's already waiting to try to make plays mid lane.
Yeah, Tristana just wants to take turrets. That's how you get your team the gold lead with her. Because her base stats are kind of questionable at the moment. But she just shreds. She shreds turrets.
Yep.
She can chunk somebody out if she's left unattended as well.
Especially with Ayaj Rush, you get a lot of early attack damage items. turrets don't respect armor penetration. Like, everything kind of goes into you max E, you hit level 9, you buy 75 attack damage to items, and turrets gonna die. And that's really gonna happen here for Otter.
Immediately sent to the bottom lane to start shoving this out. And here's the thing too, is CLG Black sent their bottom lane mid. So they're gonna try to surge or siege down this turret.
I don't think they can pressure Victor that easily, but we'll see.
He's not there. Then he won't be there for a couple seconds. They'll clear this wave up.
Right.
They might get some damage on it, but the question is, do they exchange? Yeah, they're gonna get turret damage on this for a tiny bit, but they back off.
They don't have the ward control. Look at this. Look how many blue dots are on the river, really. There's one in the top left side, and like you can kind of see Morgana, but really so many of Lee Sin's gank paths are unknown, and they have to be afraid because of that.
Yeah, they had to respect it. They can't do anything in that mid lane, so they're wasting time here.
I like that CLG, though, have sent Lissandra bot lane. It's a long lane, that bot lane now, and they know that's one's being pressured. So a champion with wave clear, which is Graves or Lissandra, and a champion with better escapes, meaning Lissandra, is the one holding that turret.
Easy really doesn't have a lot of kill pressure, though, on the Tristana. His first item is a Negatron Cloak.
Ooh,
basically
that makes it a weak landing phase, yeah, but
nothing to her at all.
We'll see if Otter can actually bully the fact that Easy doesn't have any combat stats against him, though. I still think Liss should be safe, but we'll see. You can see right now, Otter is forced to play the wave clear game. He's constantly pushed back behind his own dead turret, so Trist so far being held in check. Trashy, though, wants to stop Kenny. Doesn't quite dodge it. Wow, half health from QQ.
That was a fat Q there. Chunks him out. This gives them complete dragon control. They already have the crab as well.
Yep, he had a ward on the top of the first place, and here we go.
Yep, Easy had to back too. So
sure.
They know Lissandra's not around. They know that Annie is about half HP or was, so he's ticking up on some potion. Immediately get this for themselves and even the dragon score from that early game dragon.
Oh, very well played, Enemy Esports. They got that one good fight in the top lane, and CLG Black now forced to completely respect the fact that this is the stronger team on the map right now.
FLICKR going for the Stalker's Blade still, even though this is 5.4 and the range nerf has been put in.
Aw, he lost his... Yep.
He sees it, though.
That's the pink ward.
Yep, you saw that earlier. Kenny was trying to get it.
Raptor buff. Sad face for FLICKR. All right, Otter going to try again for the bot lane. Easy. You can see, clears the way pretty quickly, walks away from the dark binding, and he's close enough to his own turret that there doesn't seem to be an all-in potential. Meanwhile, enemy have sent flares top lane to hold this long lane. There's nothing to pressure. So, you know, give it your least offensive champion. Just sit there, keep your own turret from dying. That's the correct place to put him. Even though Dragon's off the field right now, it's not like he needs to split against it, but...
3v1 bottom. They're going to start pressing this down. Jarvan's going to start coming towards this, but they're already going to chunk it out because of the explosive shot. It's going to be half HP.
Yeah, the question is then, you've got the same matchup, theoretically, on the other side of the map. Hold on, first off, flares. Just a quick trade. You could theoretically 3v1 the Victor, just like these guys are 3v1ing Lissandra.
Oh.
There's the attempt. Good Black Shield. Liss still wants in. Just clears the ward.
The game's kind of slowing down a bit. People are looking, basically checking the armor to see if there's any cracks in it anywhere. If you keep rotating, eventually your opponent might mess up, or you'll mess up.
That's true.
And then they expose that weakness and take a turret off of it. So it's kind of just been testing back and forth. How many people do we send bottom? How many people do we send middle? And then seeing how the enemy reacts, where they allocate their numbers.
And you mentioned seeing how the enemy reacts right now. We've got a lot of wards available to be placed. Double Sightstone for enemy, whereas FLICKR has just invested in a whole bunch of green wards himself. So I expect the vision to be plenty good, honestly, for both teams. Right now, a bunch of defensive wards in the bot jungle for CLG Black. You can see Tri-Brush, front of river, near the Raptors. Not really any wards, oddly enough, for enemy esports. I don't see many red spots at all, despite the fact that double Sightstone means they should always have 6, but there's 2?
I think they backed recently.
Yeah, they've all timed out and they needed new stock, but right now the map is dark for these guys. Enemy have to be incredibly afraid of anywhere they go, lest they get jumped by Liss Jarvan.
Enemy are getting, like, this is actually very low in terms of ward control from both teams in the type of situation where your turrets are already going down. Like, it's extremely low ward coverage. Usually you'll see persistent wards, because like now, Lorlo cannot push up past the river till they get that scuttler. Or until they secure something for him that lets him be safe. Or else he's just going to be hanging around that area.
Yeah.
Forever.
We'll see, he's been unable to pressure the top lane matchup. Close to Azonia's Hourglass here for Kennen. Just the catalyst for flares. Lolo's still a level down.
So Otter already has his IE completed. Graves still needs to back, and now it's turret pushing time in the mid lane from Stixxay. Gonna be able to take this one out on the next wave. They put everybody bottom, that's the thing. They put their numbers there. Otter's trying to get this turret. Easy and ThinkCard. Trying to show up. Oh!
Wow, the Black Shield comes out in time. Easy gets hit with the Q. Trashy can't get the ult. There we go, gets it, but ThinkCard should trade back. Exhaust and heal keeps him safe. ThinkCard almost under the turret. In comes Lorlo, puts on the Slicing Maelstrom, wants body drop, gets him. TPs come in. Kenny and Graves are there. Trashy goes down to Timbers. It's a 2-for-1 CLG Black.
And that was a huge fight that just exploded out of them getting too close to the turret. Great Black Shield from body drop, but the teleport and the way that they were able to push them off of the turret gave CLG Black the pressure that they needed. Inox, once again, nothing to say about that fight. He just shoves mid.
Wow, I mean, so I understand him being pushed in this time around. He's in a 1 versus 2. Graves, Annie are almost going to always show up first, and good by Stixxay and Kenny to do so. But Inox really low participation now in this game. A bit uncharacteristic for him.
He's got no assists, right? He hasn't helped his team secure anything. He's just been focusing on his own play at the moment. We do see Jarvan still off on the side, though. They're going for Lorlo.
Wow, insta-burst. They know the ult and flash are down. They chop him out. Bot lane's going to fall pretty easily.
That 278
right,
crit.
You got to get it once in a while.
Yeah, it's about a fifth of his HP at this point.
Yeah, it's painful. Well, back to jungle duty here. ThinkCard and Trashy getting their respective red buffs. Thing is, good attribution of resources. CLG Black, the fact that they got mid lane turret despite losing so heavily early game,
it's about to
really is very
all the
impressive
way.
by them.
Oh.
They wanted to give the buff to Stixxay.
Yeah. This is very interesting. He throws it off. Body drop saw that coming. His Black Shields are amazing.
So good.
Trashy goes really hard just for the kill, but the flash forward for the exhaust and the heal was just an overcommitment. And then Lorlo immediately TPs in with the vengeful Slicing Maelstrom. There's double Maelstroms in this, actually. FLICKR shows up.
Oh, he missed the ward. He wanted to ward hop over.
Yep. So here's the thing is, they overcommitted for that kill. If Trashy was the only one who went forward for that kill to take out Lorlo, it would have been fine for enemy.
Yeah.
Because the flash forward for the exhaust and the heal was what put them in a bad position for Otter and body drop.
Yeah. And then a good rotation made it all happen. So, hey, CLG Black caught up a little bit, but off the respawns, enemy Esports pushed down the mid lane turret. Tristana power, Zeal Zertgreaves. Oh my god, that is a powerful, powerful turret killing machine right here with a ton of bonus attack speed. But the thing is, Outer's already gone right now. You've cashed in that gold lead. Now, thankfully for enemy Esports, it's right on time for the Dragon to respawn, so they can pick another good objective and get more turret pressure. It's a very fortunate time to get that.
The turret damage increase is actually really good on Tristana. Like normally, like okay, you know, you have a little bit more,
whatever,
but this allows her to just make that 100% increase on the 4 hits, just even more. It's ridiculous how much damage she's going to do to turrets. And it allows her to operate and do her job better.
Exactly, especially because it's Trist Morg as well. Typically, turret sieging is just a big risk. Is like, well, Kennen or Liss or Jarvan or someone's going to jump me and my life's going to be pain. Woe is me, I'm an AD carry player. It's like, well, you got Black Shield, and he timed a Lissandra ulti for you.
Yeah.
You're going to kill some turrets. And instead of the typical turret taking where you ace the enemy team then push, it's like, no, they can legit poke turrets down. And I am pretty excited to see what enemy can do with this this turret killing buff.
I want to see what CLB do as well.
Yeah.
When they get fights that they want. Because you saw it there where they were like, all right, let's have a 5-on-4. They all collapsed onto that fight. And they made it happen with a 2-for-1. That is a team that you don't want to fight grouped up. So enemy, I think they're just going to stay spread out. Like, Inox is not showing up to these fights. That might be a theme for a while.
Just get him so farmed. I mean, Abyssal first, he's not going to take much magic damage. Get your upgrades going, maybe get a death cap and a Zonia's and just...
He doesn't even have one yet, I believe. He's still sitting on the Mark 1.
Yeah. Blue is the next one. When it turns blue, you know he's actually got the ability to upgrade one of those abilities.
It's like a blue, purple, and a red.
I believe so, yeah. Well, he gets the blue buff here. Zaps it. Level 12 Victor. He is ahead of Easy by a little bit, but not for long. There's 12 for him.
It's actually kind of strange that he hasn't upgraded any of them. Because you usually want that first.
Too bad.
You want that first augmented spell usually.
Yeah, it's a more defensive build. He just wants to farm right now, which is a little bit un-Inox-like. He's normally a pretty aggressive player, I would say.
Oh, this is going to be the last outer turret in the game going down, but here they go.
Super
Look at
worth it.
If he gets an explosive charge on that.
He used it for the last wave. He couldn't use it for the turret. He's going to get maybe 2 auto attacks on, but he's got to respect this a little bit. Good job using Stixxay to push top lane turret down. Bot tier 2 incredibly low. I expect it to die this wave. There's a few wards. They can likely track Jarvan.
Everybody's grouped up here, though. Inox is shoving mid. They have to answer it. So now the shove from Inox is actually showing itself in something that enemy can take advantage of. They're starting to move towards this bottom lane. Inox has all of this area warded. It would be a 5-on-4, though. Flares now has his TP. Otter
Flash ult combo. Otter, he's going to try to get out with Flash, gets a shield from Trashy, and he does rocket jump away, saves it, but many ults are now down for both sides. What's the follow-up going to be like? Sapling Slow says nothing.
They can't do anything about it. They have to disengage. They can no longer siege that turret. Enemy have to back up. The CLB can't continue the fight either. And now they have to do wave management and clear.
All right, so happy times then. CLG Black managed to stop the push. They can get their waves back in order.
Wow. Inox goes straight from Mark 1 to perfect on his augment.
Oh my god. 138 ability power now from that item, so he's looking pretty decent. He's got the upgraded fast-moving Chaos Storm.
It was giving him 70 before that, and now it's giving him about twice that. Well, he had the prototype and he upgraded it one time. That's what. So it starts purple, then it turns yellow. Then it goes blue. Then
prototype Mark 1.
Yes.
Mark 2, perfect.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, I don't play enough Victor. I apologize, Victor Mains. I got you wrong. I failed you.
Got it.
We're gonna move on.
It's perfect now. So he skipped one and went for the next one.
Yep. Skip tier 2.
Yeah.
2,000 gold worth of augments. I think that's correct. And bot lane is under fire one more time. Really quick clear. Enemy Esports knocked that one down. Life's good for them. They forced Graves to recall. He couldn't push top lane anymore. Actually, the weird thing is, I think Stixxay could have kept pushing. They saw 4 guys bot lane. There's no way they pushed out an inhibitor turret. There was an easy way to pressure inhib turret here. They're not going to defend their own jungle in time. Nothing's able to be done for these guys. Enemy are still the team ahead in gold, and they've got a perfect Hex for Victor.
Yeah, and they have a Phantom Dancer completed on Otter. They're in a very good spot. He's massive right now, like you said. They're in a very good spot to just start taking over the map. Immediately shoot up to a 3.5k gold lead just off of taking turrets and taking advantages on the map.
Good things overall then for the red team.
Ooh. They immediately put all their wards over on the Baron side. Like, we have nothing to do in that bottom side. We've already taken the tier 2. Dragon isn't up for 1:30. Let's go ahead. Let's get Otter this red buff on top of his red buff. Yeah. And then we're going to start forming up, pushing waves, pushing sideways, making sure that they can't do Baron. We have vision of it just in case they want to go for it. And that we leave the option open to ourselves.
So here's the next fun part. 1:15 till Dragon, and because enemy esports all ran top side and were forced to recall and got Baron control, CLG Black have Dragon control. They're actually the guys with a good number of deep wards actually throughout that eastern jungle that theoretically it should be so hard for enemy to face check. Otter has no idea if there's a Lissandra in that brush. Walks into it anyway. Actually, we saw Lissandra. No idea if Jarvan's in that brush. How about that?
Yes. He had absolutely no idea if Jarvan was in that brush.
One last recall for a longsword and a null magic mantle. He knows to be afraid of Liss Kennen. Makes an early sidestep for some magic resist. And now the team's going to move forward. They know Dragon's in 30 seconds here. CLG Black would like to stop enemy from getting the movement speed buff from Dragon 3.
And they can combine that with flares, with his Righteous Glory. They now have engaged tools to chase you down when it's up in the open.
Wow.
Like I said, enemy, it's hard for them to force things. But with this, it's a lot easier for them to.
They just walked right in.
Yep.
Nobody stopped enemy esports from just walking into the river and getting ward control back without respecting a single champion.
Loyla would have to TP in, because it would have been a 4v5. And them forcing, like, just the zone control, too, from Victor is really big. They have to respect a lot of what enemy can do as a composition.
Well, that's why your goal is to push the top lane in, then recall and walk your top laner back and use them as a battering ram to get in for vision control and right in full vision. Enemy esports start Dragon number 3. There's the teleport in from Kennen. Lissandra's going to show up as well.
Oh, he goes straight through.
Goes in, gets kicked back over by both of them. But Trashy walks a little bit back into range. Otter gets stunned, and Annie comes in with the timbers. They kill out the AD carry. Trashy falls as well. The AoE comp might be working, but yeah, Victor's got something to say. Trades one back, but it's a 3-for-1 so far. Make that 3-for-2. 2-for-2 now, actually, as another couple of champions fall down. And that fight's a wash.
Yeah, 3 for 3 in the overall.
Yeah.
Just crazy fight all throughout. Stixxay still holding on to his flash. Man, the way they got Kennen out of there.
And then followed him in, by the way.
Kennen
Kennen and Tristana, or Lee Sin and Tristana both jumped back in a Slicing Maelstrom.
Kennen's wild ride. He had no idea what was going on, but he loved it. That was great. The fact that Trashy goes in after him, too. Very split fight, very skirmishy fight there, which is more or less what enemy want to have happen. They had zone from body drop off on the left. You saw the engage here, and then they immediately boo, boo, and he goes flying off. Then Trashy's like, I'm gonna follow that, and he gets frozen at the same time. Now, body drop is actually keeping Stixxay out of this fight. He exhausts him. They don't take a lot of damage from the collateral damage. So Stixxay and Easy's damage wasn't at full capacity for that fight. And the chase down with the twisted advance. Very well played there. So 3 for 3. Nobody gets dragged off that. But actually, during that replay, it was just taken by enemy.
Yeah.
So they have 3.
All right, so Enemy Esports sporting that third dragon for themselves, and they now move faster. That's kind of a good thing for these guys. They also hold a 4,000 gold lead, which should make any team happy, really.
The QSS early for Otter. Third item, QSS. Doesn't need the Last Whisper. He could go for a Bloodthirster. His Last Whisper, actually, at this point, wouldn't be that great.
He's fighting,
to be honest.
fighting double Zonias.
Well, here's the thing is, he's fighting double Zonias, but also it would be more beneficial because then he doesn't get blown up as easily, so he has a Bloodthirster, and it's better for hitting turrets.
Yeah.
They don't have armor penetration.
It's true. It's more AD for the gold, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the more defensive item would in fact be BT. We'll see if that ends up being his choice. Enemy Esports looking to control now the western jungle, but they can't go too far in right now. Mid lane being pushed back up by CLG Black. Enemy only fashionably late to the party. Looks like they'll be able to stop the turret from going down.
What is Trashy doing? He's off the side. There's the TP in to the back line. Are they going to start this?
Looks like
Flares is going.
Flares jumps in onto Lorlo. The battle begins. Inox getting jumped on right away. Almost exploded. Can get the ulti off, but they do trade back right away. 2 members dead from CLG Black. Stixxay forced run, but not before he takes down body drop. But in comes Otter. The cavalry's here. Trashy misses the flash. Otter does not. 5 for 2 enemy.
That fight started off of a TP in plain sight. And CLG Black, they thought they could take the 5-on-5 and crush Inox immediately. He blows everything, and he still lives for a very long time. They're going to go for Baron now on enemy side and try to blow this game wide open.
You're seeing the value of the Abyssal Scepter Rush and Black Shield on top. Just not enough damage got done. Even though Body Drop did not even have Exhaust him, it simply did not matter. First couple respawns come in. ThinkCard is walking across the map, but he will not arrive in time to steal away Baron, I don't think. Enemy Esports are going to get Baron off of that clutch team fight. Down it goes, and out they head.
Yep, Jarvan off on the side. No way he's able to contest this. They don't have any globals, so no.
Otter could die.
Otter!
He died.
Oh boy.
So that bind makes that TP really easy, by the way. Kenny's stuck here. And Lorlo's like, I'll defend you.
And then they all clump up here, and then they say, let's go on Inox. Black Shield takes a lot of damage. Ultimate doesn't hit. He still hits his cleanse, too. And then ThinkCard is getting obliterated by Otter at the same time. But the big thing was what was happening to Lorlo and the rest of the team. Stixxay trying to burst through them doesn't have the same type of damage output. You see, Otter actually takes that extra half second to line up his flash. She's like, Trashy messed it up, but. So he gets the flash, but he dies to red buff.
And yeah, he lost the Baron buff as well. Whoops.
So he's really 6-1-6.
No, that's a death. That is a very real death. ThinkCard, what are we going in for Inox? He's trying again. The Victor Burst comes out, and it might just trade back. It does. But mid laner for jungler is pretty worth it.
Just the durability there on Inox with the Black Shield on top of everything just makes it so hard to kill him, and he's able to take out ThinkCard at the same time. But look at that, Kenny face checks.
He's caught warding, goes down right away to the top laner and the jungler. Baron buffed up Enemy Esports, looking to push mid.
It's going to be so hard to clear these waves, too. They're going to zone them off on the side. Easy, he's going to have to take the long way route. There's the Righteous Glory.
Almost got him with the root.
That was so close. His flash is almost up as well on Flair's side.
Jarvan's back up right now. It is a 4 versus 4.
They're
How
gonna
long
chunk this turret, though.
does enemy want to stay? They're going to stay for Lorlo, but he pops the Zonians without ulting, which means they can get him right back afterwards. No stun comes out from Kennen. Will they stay for the turret? Looks like the answer is yes. These stuns up trash, but who cares? It's a Lee Sin jungle with plenty of tank items. Doesn't take any meaningful damage from Easy. Now the inhibitor under fire. It's a 4 versus 4 again as Kenny respawns. Let's charge up the stun. Enemy walks out with some buffed up minions.
Yeah, they don't even have Inox there or had him at all for this entire push. It was off the pick of Kenny, the zoning off of Easy and having the inside track on mid lane. They get Lorlo in a very desperate situation. Didn't pop his ultimate, just decides to zone his 0, 6, and 5. He's definitely feeling the pressure this game and also had 2 bans thrown at him in Champion Select.
I was just thinking about that is, you know, this is a player who, this is basically his competitive debut. This is his 2nd week playing with CLG Black. First time I've seen him really in any competitive setting. So I don't even see Kennen on his list of most played in solo queue. His top 2 are Aurelia Rumble. He's top 25. Like, this guy is really good, but you take him off his comfort champions. His number 3 being Riven says he doesn't even want to play that in competitive, and well, his performances seem to be immediately lowered here. And he's not the carry he was last week.
Yeah, really taking him off that Aurelia is a big boon for enemy. Playing the pick and ban very well. And like Inox, he could play whatever he wanted. He was completely open. He's like, I'm gonna play Victor. He could play the Xerath. He could play a lot of different things for himself, but no, he goes with that. Oh, nope, not gonna take it. They are alerted to the presence of CLG Black though.
They're trying to death brush this. Just takes a eats a sapling. But it looks like Dragon number 4 in 10 seconds is enemy's target. Mid inhibitor already opened. Mid lane wave already cleared. So nothing for enemy to get pushed around with. Bot lane is open. There's the TP flank one more time from Kennen. Can
go in.
Make it happen. Goes in, kick back towards Otter. Can he pop the Zonias? Yes, he can. He gets some really meaningful damage, but Think Card already blows up to Victor. It's a 1 for 0. Body drop trades back with the enemy jungler, and you got more happening now. 3 for 1 already. Easy forced to run. There's just no damage left on CLG Black. And that's going to be the 4th kill of the fight.
That is just a crazy team composition here from enemy. It's so hard to kill whoever has Black Shield on them, and Body Drop is on top of those. He's using his, they have double lockets right now too, so they're shielding, they're extra shielding somebody, they're throwing the Black Shield on him. Inox isn't going down, Otter isn't going down that fight, and the main damage dealers are staying alive for a prolonged time, and they're such high damage at this point.
Yeah, you're forced to engage in on Victor and Tristana, and Maokai sucks up the damage and says, I dare you to. Works out beautifully so far. Enemy Esports looking at a double inhibitor take off of that team fight. They didn't go for Dragon. They wanted the base to die. Now they can drag on the retreat, but with double inhibitors down, this is enemy's Esports game to lose.
Trashy and Otter are doing an amazing job of keeping Lorlo out of the fight for as long as possible.
Yeah.
He's flashing in, and then he's getting kicked out, buster shotted out, and they're just completely aware of that. He W's in to kick him, and then Otter...
Yeah, actually gets a decent ult though, is the thing.
Yeah, Otter doesn't actually get his buster shot off there. Instead, they're too worried. They're backing up, trying to stay away from this composition from CLG Black that's diving them. Otter stays alive, Inox stays alive with the lockets, with the Black Shield, and enemy are in a great spot. They're up 13,000 gold. They're definitely looking like the team that when they group up for fights, they know how to play those fights out. And CLG Black are looking more like, we get in a fight, let's dive somebody, but it's not always that black and white. It's not always everybody onto the back line. It's like, wait, there's flares. This 5-0 and 12 Maokai in our face.
Full tank.
And you have to respect the Victor damage while you're getting locked up by flares. And if you get to Otter, what damage are you going to do to him when Body Drop is shielding him? They're getting Body Drop some of these fights, but it's just very chaotic from CLG Black.
Yeah, chaotic indeed. They just can't get the targets down. I'm actually surprised Inox going with Death Cap over Zonias. He's still staying alive through it all the same. Just the really offensive build working out for him. QSS, of course, helping Otter a little bit as well. There's just enough defense here. You mentioned the double lockets as well. The AoE burst, just not enough here for counter Logic Gaming Black. Here's the minion wave for the top side. Again, double inhibitors down mean mid and bot will constantly push in. Blue team will have to eventually retreat and clear those waves, but for now, CLB not afraid. They know Lee Sin's mid. 5v4, they clear the minion wave out very aggressively. They're not letting damage come through.
Baron in 15 seconds. They've already set up for it, having scuttle control. Enemy, their warding game early is very questionable, but they outwarded CLG Black.
Yeah.
All throughout all stages of the game. They were the ones applying pressure, and now they're going to get a Baron just off of their ward control. They could see every entrance here that enemy could possibly take into this pit, and they could set up for it instantaneously.
You TP into a ward and try brush above them and walk down the river. Not going to happen. Enemy Esports, they get themselves Baron number 2 this game. 34-45. They got a nice wave top lane right here ready for them. And at the same time, the rest of CLG Black are forced inside their base due to the inhibitor deaths. This will be turret number 8, and they can go right in for the inhibitor turret as well.
Continuing to push. If they get this third inhibitor, it's only 35 minutes in the game. This is the time that they ended their game yesterday. And look at that. He doesn't even care. Otter goes straight for the turret with the explosive charge.
Chunk.
Off of one siege, they get it down to 1/4 HP, and they still have this cannon minion up too. Who can clear this? They're all mid-range.
Without any minions in front, Liz can't reach it.
Yeah, nobody can reach this. They'd have to devote their body to getting all the way up there.
No
and their front line.
Minions.
Oh, there's the engage from Flares. On to Stixxay.
Righteous Glory. Yep, gonna lock up Stixxay. Just buy some time. The turret's already dead. Kenny's got a charge on his head. They re-engage. They blow up Otter. Think card's pretty low for this, though. Lorlo also taking a lot of AoE. Inox kites back safely. His ulti's gonna claim the second kill for himself this fight. It's a 2-for-1 so far. CLB did decent, but Easy's now in the wrong spot. That's gonna be a quick kill. Picked up a double for Inox in this one. Minions inside the base as well. This could be the game-winning push if they're willing to stick it out. Triple inhibitor down. Looks like they're willing to play it much more safely, though.
They see that they have all the advantages that they need in this game. Inox is doing monstrous damage, and they're focusing Otter down. Doesn't even get his flash or his heal off. Just eats the pavement, but he can't really, like, there's too many threats.
Yep.
CLG Black, they just have to deal with too many threats on enemy, and at this point, Flares is a threat all in his own. Like, you see him dive the backline. He doesn't care. He keeps Stixxay out of this fight forever. They get the turret, and then Lorlo's like, all right, it's time to go off the back of Think Card. Let's get to the backline. And this time, Easy's trying to get to Inox, and Inox is just putting his ultimate down, throwing out his damage, gets huge chunks onto Easy here, and forces the Zhonya's in the mispositioning there of the team. They have to dive the backline, and that's the counter engage too of enemy. They have zone control with all of these different abilities that they're able to keep CLG Black away from them once they do engage.
And they're forced to get only one guy at a time. The Bloodthirster now done for Otter. Means he's got a couple extra 100 health to work through. That's already been difficult enough for them. Mid inhib goes back down. Bottom inhib going to be refocused. It actually already has super minions because of how the minion waves were managed before, so they can ride this wave directly into the base potentially.
And if it's not this wave, it's the one in the top lane too. They're just taking so much turret damage here. It's the final stand.
There we go. Next to turret number 1. There's the engage. Think Card does not reach Otter. He's going to blow up first. Already a 2-for-0. This is going to be a very clean and easy fight for enemy Esports. Everyone kites out safely. 5-for-0. A triple kill for Inox. That's going to be the Nexus. 2-0 enemy Esports.
What? Still, the team to beat. Quadra kill for Inox on Victor. This guy was playing Nidalee for the longest time, pulls out a Kassadin, a Xerath, a LeBlanc, an Ahri, and now a Victor. He's showing he can play almost anything in that mid lane. He's constantly impressing on.
Adapting well to the champions that seem to be popularized. It's interesting. Okay, first I'm going to talk about enemy Esports and how good they are, and then talk about what I like about the Victor pickup overall. So certainly a very strong team. They're in first place by 2 games now. We can see teams catch up throughout the day. 2 more matches, of course, to show if any of the 3-2 teams can catch back up with these guys. Final 5 and TDK being those applicants here if they can get within 1. But overall, great game so far by enemy Esports. The Victor pick I like just because even though it's just sort of copying other teams, you can see what comps it works with and say, yeah, we can run that too. That fits our style, and just adapt it. Yep. All right, well, joining us to talk about that victory on the Rift is enemy's AD carry, Otter. Otter, welcome to the show, man. Very nicely done, dude.
Hey, thanks.
So Tristana came out for you as like your last pick. There is just like this great sieging champion. What was sort of the reason behind going Tristan this game?
Something to send the cannon out of the fight, and also a hyper carry for the end game. Makes it easy to siege on towers as well.
All right, how hard is red buff?
Yeah, I lag there. I a little lag.
Definitely, yeah. The PvE is difficult with ping.
I have a serious question for you though. We keep hearing about body drop and how you handpicked him. At this point, he's AKA handpicked. Why did you pick him? What stood out to you from body drop? Because he was somebody who was around for a little bit, but never really impressed to huge like measures.
Honestly, the reason why I picked body drop is because I don't get along too well with like just like any supports. And anytime I had him in solo queue, he actually wasn't that impressive, but he was easy to work with. And this was like a year or two ago when we were on an amateur team together, or another amateur team called Infinite Odds. And yeah, we just had good synergy together. So yeah, when they were remaking Enemy, I was looking when they asked me to find my own support, and then he was looking to try to go professional again. So I asked him.
Nice.
And yeah.
I like that your first impression was he wasn't that impressive.
Well,
Yeah.
he was really under the radar for the longest time. Only time I'd ever seen him play something well was Thresh. He had really good hooks.
Yeah, so far 6 more in a row. At some point, I'm sure it'll be banned away from him, but for now, it's great. So next week, as you guys are in first place, you're up against the last place team right now, TSM Darkness. How do you feel that match is going to go?
Oh, I'm pretty confident that we'll 2-0 them.
Just no holds barred. Yeah, 2-0
Yeah,
free.
I'm pretty confident.
If
we'll
no red
2-0.
buffs get in the way.
Yeah. No,
Jungle
nothing
might
will
hold you
stop
down.
me.
Not even red buff will stop you. All right, Otter. Well, thank you very much for joining us. Good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Well, we're going to take a quick break, but when we return, we're going to ring the bell for our second matchup between TSM Darkness and Final 5. Don't go anywhere. In comes Lorlo, puts on the slicing maelstrom, wants body drop, gets him. TPs come in, Kenny and Graves are there. Trashy goes down to Tibbers. Well,
he goes straight
Lorlo
through.
goes in, gets picked back over by both of them. But Trashy walks a little bit back into range. Otter gets stunned, and Annie comes in with the Tibbers. 2 members down from CLG Black. Sticks a forced run, but not before he takes down body drop. But in comes Otter. The cavalry's here. Trashy misses the flash. Otter does not. They re-engage. They blow up Otter. Think card's pretty low for this, though. Lorlo also taking a lot of AoE. Inox kites back safely. His ulti's going to claim the second kill for himself. Hey everyone, welcome back to the North American Challenger Series. Our second game is just moments away, and while we gear up for that, here's what happened last night between Final 5 and TSM Darkness.
It got very heated last night between these two teams, but ultimately, we're going to see what happens here in just a moment. You can see the team comp from TSM Darkness is actually get to your backline wombo combo composition. Final 5 went with a little more well-rounded composition here. It's very siege-oriented, but they can fight you.
Yeah, honestly, there's a lot of bursts coming at your face if you do end up jumping in on them. And of course, the fact that you have ways of tying up the backline with Mundo, or not Mundo, sorry, but like Maokai to hold them in place. Maybe you can actually knock back the Scion. The thing is, Janna shouldn't be good in this comp because both Scion and Vi can ignore the fact that she exists while they use their ultimates. So you'd think it'd be hard to play for Final 5, but execution ended up being a really important part of all this. To get ourselves into the game, you'll see what I mean.
All right, now let's get into the game and actually look at those highlights here. Veritas, he's been a little bit under the radar. Hasn't been featured a whole lot, but Heaventime puts his attention immediately to the bot lane in this 2-on-2.
Indivisible getting a nice knockup from the Tornado. Heaven misses the flash Q, but it's just a lot of bursts. They get the jungler in. Honestly, the ward was so shallow that they couldn't see Lee Sin in time. They go in for the dive here, and the thing is, Quan again plays it really beautifully. Double knockup, Tornado on Indivisible, knocks him into the wall. Quan, the new support for Final 5, has been incredible for this team.
Stepping in for Rule 18 and really featuring Veritas in this last game that they played. This fight, though, gets a little drawn out. They overextended for that last kill on Final 5's side. And now Sojin, he's seconds away from his ultimate being back up, so he wants to continue this fight, seeing as Quan and Heaventime are both low.
The thing is, you're seeing a lot of like really good mechanical plays. They've actually either canceled or dodged from Scion ulti twice, but by the way, Sivir spell shielding basically everything. And Arc Second here actually gets stopped on the roam, but the Xerath keeps going for the Orianna instead of helping them turn back onto Sojin. So Heaventime here, this is great. So he's gonna Q it, dodges, and then goes into the Vault Breaker.
Right into Sojin. Amazing play there. Great forethought. Indivisible, though, flashing over the E to get his own stun, but he's too far forward, and he gets blown up by Gate, who now nobody can reach him.
Yeah, Arc Second wasn't even there to land a shotgun before his jungler even died. Easy chase there. Bullseye there for Xerath. Quick and easy kill.
And you could see Sojin held onto his ultimate for so long, he was not in range to get to Gate forever. And like we said, this is a wombo combo composition, but where's the wombo? It's on Final 5's side.
Yeah, Indivisible blows up during a Xerath stun. Big ol' Rana's a tank, but the turret's basically dead. You've got to turn tail and run. He pops the ult to try to get out, but by the way, Rux is here. Nothing to do on this one. Revives, kind of. Just punches a Maokai. Lumberjack Scion actually defeated by the tree. Oh, irony.
Ironic. Sometimes the tree falls on you, though. You got to yell timber before it goes down. They go in for the engage, and they try to get on Gate, but you can see Rux there for the peel immediately.
And Quan does such a good job of actually peeling other people back. I think he's probably canceled like 6 Scion Qs this game by himself. So just the follow-up CC never quite landed. Vi was kind of only there by himself. You can see Arc Second wasn't even able to cast Shockwave, nor was Indivisible able to cast Timbers during that fight. So the follow-up just not there for Final 5, for TSD time and again.
And you can see there, 28 minutes, our fastest game yesterday, was Final 5 taking a victory over TSD. Quan, the new support, stepping in for Rule 18, synergizing almost immediately with Veritas, and had an amazing scoreline that game.
Yeah, we'd always been saying that Veritas was going to be the new hotness in the Challenger Series, a really amazing AD carry, and now you're seeing him with a top-performing support looking better and better. Teaser hasn't won a game since he played top lane on the very first game against CLG Black. Weirdly, I want to see them actually roll swap that back and just go back to the combo that's working.
I don't know if he wants to, because I talked to him and he was like, I played top lane Aurelia. I'm like, have you ever played that before? He's like, I was looking up a guide while the screen was loading.
Yeah.
So he's like, MOBA Fire, how do you build Aurelia?
You buy a Trinity Force and tank out. Even I can tell you that one. It's really obvious. You buy the best item in the game.
He did it, though. And he went like 10-6 or something. He had
Trinity Force.
He had 10-4 and 10. 5 KDA on that. Is really, really good.
Trinity Force. For tonight's rematch, we're going to be keeping an eye on the damage dealers. On TSM Darkness, it is Veritas. He's going up against TSD's AD carry Teaser.
Yeah, and you can see there, Veritas lower on the kill participation, but that's usually because they have a playmaker in the top lane, Rux, who's like, he's consistent, but he shows up to everything. I wouldn't be like, it wouldn't be that much of a stretch for the imagination to imagine that Rux is a big part of their team and how they operate, because he's running around the lanes. He's getting Gate going too, who I think their mid laner actually has a lot of kills to his name too. He's kind of under the radar. He likes to play like Xerath, a lot of CG things. Yeah, like that's usually what he goes to.
Right.
But Teaser, on the other hand, on TSD, he's a big part of this because Big Ol' Ron is not the same type of top laner that Rux is. Right? He likes to stay in his lane. He likes to farm and shove it out.
Plays tanks, plays Scion, things like that.
Then you see Arcsecond, who's like, I'm kind of supplementary damage. He does well when the team does well.
Yeah.
Right? He's the guy, he kind of reminds me of Jess's, where I'm not going to win lane, but I'm not going to lose it either. And then I'll show up, and if I've farmed up enough, I'm going to put out some big damage.
Yeah. It just seems like TSD, though, as an overall whole, because of their record as well, you can kind of see, like, their laning phase doesn't seem to be very strong. They're constantly getting behind, and I think that's part of why you're seeing these skewed kill participation graphs, is anytime your team is strong in laning and gets kills in lane, everyone's kill participation goes down because you're getting 1 or 0 assists per kill in many of these cases. So sometimes it's actually a good thing to have low KP scores, is the weird thing. But Final 5, looking to challenge their way up the standings. 3-2 right now. I gotta say, this lineup looks good for them. We'll see if they can keep that run going. If they win here, they are 4-2. And in a pretty good spot overall. Xerath away from Gate, Aurelia away from Big Ol' Ron, not allowing him to play playmakers.
So I actually want to talk about, you can see Sojin there on TSM Darknesses. That's actually their manager. He plays jungle, usually. He's a Vi and Sejuani player in solo queue. He's a master tier player. They had to pick him up. They do have Liquid Inori actually signed to them, but he was signed after the roster deadline for the week.
Yeah.
So he will be playing next week, so they have to use their manager this week because Azingi got pulled up to Dignitas.
Right, exactly. TSM Darkness's old jungler Azingi. Talked about him on the LCS. Had to fill the roster swap, did it. We'll see how DSD do for now. Final 5 looking definitely like one of the better teams in Challenger. Darkness, unfortunately, having a really slow start to the season. 5 games to go. And at 1-4, they got to start picking up wins really early. Xerath, Lissandra, Maokai, solo lane bans aimed at Final 5. No Kalista for Teaser, no Aurelia for Big Ol' Ron. And the final ban, what will they get rid of? LeBlanc away, so Arcsecond still also not allowed to be as big of a playmaker.
These are actually the exact 3 bans that TSM Darkness had against them yesterday in Final 5. So they're just keeping the same thing regardless of red or blue side.
Indivisible getting himself Morgana once again here. Played that a little while back. Actually, in their win over CLG Black is what he played. So, heck, Morgana Sports 100% for TSM Darkness right now.
Yeah, Morgana was actually banned against Final 5 yesterday. So they first pick it to take it away. They don't want Rux on that champion. They don't want, they don't want to have him pick it up on Kongquan. Like, there's a lot of things here that it's just beneficial to do so. I'm actually very shocked that Nidalee has made it through the champion select. I don't think Sojin and Heaventime are really Nidalee players, though.
Well, Heaventime pulled a Nidalee ban from it last time, so maybe that is going to be picked up later on. They realize that Sojin maybe doesn't play it. Or people got confused along the way, but Rumble and Sivir tell me teamfight power is here for Final 5. Right away, Rek'Sai does go in for Sojin, so Nidalee ban clearly not required from Final 5 side. Was going to go for that anyway.
Yeah, that's it's just really strange to me. I do like Rux on this Rumble, though. Rumble Sivir is very good with the chase down. The fact that they get to engage on you and can disengage very easily. Rux's Rumble last week, and actually the weeks previous to that, weren't so much carry Rumbles as they were zoning tool Rumbles.
Yeah, like Riley, Zhonya's drop an ult, make him sit still, hope it goes well.
And I remember the interview afterwards, too. He seemed a little bummed about his own play.
Yeah.
But he played that phenomenally well. His laning phase was a little off. He got camped a bunch. But when he showed up to fights, he definitely changed the flow of it. So we're looking to see more of that from Rux here today on Rumble.
Maybe we will see more of the same Final 5. We'll see what they supplement their team fight composition with. We see a lot of Janna Sivir overall as a duo. I'm not a huge fan because their direct synergies aren't very big. They're good together in lane, but that's kind of it. Team fighting wise, they do fairly different things. But we see that combo kind of a lot as you want the team just, oh, we can pick fights, we can pick to start them or pick to stop them, and that's going to be the combo here once again. The Zed comes through for Gate. Oddly, they don't have just Gate pick the champion. It's clearly going to him. But he actually hovered Zed, then made Veritas pick it for him, and they grabbed Janna anyway. So I don't know if
the mind games could be 80 carry Zed.
I mean, they mind gamed me certainly, which is kind of annoying though.
It could be mid lane Janna.
It's not. I'm pretty sure it's not. They've already picked Zed. It's not it. Heaventime is not Insect. He's not jungling Zed this game.
Oh, man. One of the used to be a thing, Jungle Talon too. Could have been the new hotness.
Ugh.
I know.
I already hate Talon enough.
Yeah. But the fact that Gate's going to have that champion, that's a lot of split push pressure for them. They can pick some high priority target off in the fight, and then they can continue the fight or disengage it and then reset.
Yeah, that's definitely the strength of Janna and Sivir, but there's no hard engage here, so actually getting in and locking down your opponents would be difficult so far with Final 5. So then to keep in mind, Black Shield gets you away. So team solo mid Darkness with a support-heavy composition, their only damage dealer. Here is Teaser's Twitch. He's got a Morgana solo mid lane, a Nami support, and ooh, Sejuani comes in for Heaven Time. There's the lockdown. The boar is here.
I love that champion.
Yes, you do.
I'm like I'm like the 20th best Sejuani in NA, but there's only 21 Sejuani players.
Wow, you're better than someone out there.
Someone. But I love that champion, and the fact that you were talking about they don't have any hard engage. This champion, in my opinion, is a little bit better than what Jarvan was doing before, because Jarvan puts his own body at risk. Sejuani can pick the fights. You throw the ultimate out there, and you don't put yourself at risk if your team isn't following up.
Yeah.
You get to throw it out there and be like, okay, that hit 3 people, that's one we're taking.
Cool.
You miss it, it's like, okay, we don't have to take that fight. And it slows if you missed it, and you're just like, okay, we can back off, we're good to go. Really, really like that pickup here as a last pick for Heaven Time on that. And the fact you could just layer a Rumble ulti on top of all of it.
I think it's funny that just now we're seeing Sejuani finally played. We've been seeing Diamond player for the last couple of weeks in the European LCS, tank junglers. They've just been waiting to get played, and it looks like people are finally willing to put those champions into their lineups. But with the comps locked in, tell us who you think will win this matchup. Tweet either TSD win or F5 win to @LOL Esports, and we will check your votes in a few minutes as we get ourselves into the game. So it is 4.5, so there was like that minor nerf on the Warrior enchant. So you're like, oh, maybe that's why these tank junglers are coming out. But keep in mind, throughout the last 2 weeks, that was getting played anyway in the European LCS. Again, bringing Diamond back up here. But I do like the sort of strategic depth that it does add to Final 5. And the fact that, as you were mentioning, all of their hard engage is like pick. Like you can choose to do it or not. You mentioned kind of putting your body at risk, right? Rumble ulti from range. Sivir ulti says, oh, we can run in or out to chase that up. You don't have to like be in range. You can ult to getting in range and follow up from there. So Final 5 really, really good at picking their fights right now. We'll see if that pays off.
The only thing they have to worry about is just Dark Bindings and Teaser showing up on top of them. Teaser's been playing a little bit of Kalista the last couple of weeks. He did have some struggle against a team where he couldn't take out the Dr. Mundo, couldn't kill TDK Seraph. This time, though, he's on a much more high damage crit champion in the mid game for team fights.
Well, we'll see. Minor tank line for Final 5. A jungler is going to be less tanky than a top laner. Rumble, we'll see if Rux goes for the tank build here. Meanwhile, TSM Darkness have a really, really beefy front line and a way to keep Twitch alive, so maybe Twitch can hard carry their fights against a fairly squishy Final 5 lineup. But it's really on Teaser versus the overall team fight prowess of Final 5.
Getting to Teaser, though, is going to be a problem. They'll be able to use the Zed ultimate on him and hopefully blow him up from Final 5 side, but they do have a Black Shield. They have a lot of heals. They have a lot of peel for him on top of it. So getting to Teaser is going to be the challenge here from Final 5. And just so you guys know, Sejuani, one of the reasons that people are actually playing her more and more is that they've discovered that normally you want to go 9-21-0 on tank junglers. You can actually go 21-9 on her. 21-9-0.
Yeah.
With the offensive. You get the magic and the
armor pen, mastery.
And you make it so that you just kill the camps. You have a good clear time because her W is also enhanced by bonus HP.
Yeah.
So when you buy the Juggernaut, you're actually giving Sejuani more damage on her W. And then when you get cooldown reduction, any type, you go to Aegis, you go Frozen Heart, anything, you make it so that your W basically has 100% uptime. You are constantly outputting the damage. She was buffed a while ago, so the cooldown on her permafrost is much lower.
Yeah.
The duration is lower, but
you get to hit that a lot more.
You get to hit it a lot off. Exactly, which increases the damage output overall.
All right, so interestingly, Hybrid Pen marks also for Heaven Time, so actually caring a lot about his spell damage. 10 CDR from Runes and Masteries coming into the game. So we saw that Sion got himself a solo Raptor camp. Rek'Sai just finished soloing her own red buff, but overall the clear speed a little bit better on Sejuani right now. But of course, Sion showing up to lane with a half-level advantage, going to be pretty nice for Big Ol' Ron. Heaven time, ooh.
This is actually very tricky because he started the enemy blue, and then he went straight to his red. When Raptor's red, if he wraps around to his own after this, and he wastes Rek'Sai's time.
He already burns Smite. It's actually pretty close to him dying. I don't know if he can stay.
Nope.
Oh, God. Heaven time. He used Smite to heal himself, but he couldn't quite get enough damage down to clear off that camp. So Heaven time, while he still might get 3 buffs, it's going to happen
and
somewhat slowly.
The difficulty here is that isn't something you usually practice in a scrim or anything, because you usually start Krugs or you start Gromp. You start something that's going to enhance your damage to jungle camps. So going straight from blue to Raptors to red, you don't have the extra damage from a Gromp. You don't have the extra stun from a Krug. So you don't have as good of a grasp on it if you haven't done it very often.
Yeah.
And specifically with this champion, because jungle clears have tiny nuances between them.
Okay, so...
Oh, he sees him now. Sojin knows that Heaven Time's over the wall. The Heaven Time doesn't
I don't
see
think...
this.
He should put his own trinket down. Yeah, Sojin's going to actually just run straight away from this one. Doesn't want to get caught up in the jungle at the time. Without Smite, but he knows he's safe, I think. He'll be able to secure his own red buff. I think he's... Is he waiting for Smite to come up? Nah, he doesn't care. He's going to Smite this anyway, but...
Smite it for the HP.
Yeah.
Doesn't get the Krug buff. There's a possibility that Sojin is still waiting around because he doesn't have ward control of the side.
So well played
Good
here,
check
Veritas. Good spell. Shield gets away from the bubble, but taking a whole bunch of really annoying poke and burst from this Twitch.
Twitch actually put 2 points into his Contaminate.
Yeah, I think it's normal. You don't really learn Q for a while.
Yeah, there's no reason to have it in the lane for the most part.
No. Unless you have a really, really bully lane matchup, you can actually sneak in and try to start a fight, but not going to be the case here.
Jungler's going to clash again. Sojin is going to be invaded on by Heaven Time, but Heaven Time actually, he's going for the full clear.
Wow, so Sojin actually is going to be able to sneak this blue buff. He's got Smite. There it is, gets it. Will he stay for the second one? No, he doesn't. Needs a little token, a little memento for Heaven Time.
Left his calling card.
Oh man, he's even going to recall. Heaven Time was never even going to check that thing. Final 5.
Best skin.
Bear Cavalry?
Yeah.
You don't use it.
I know. Just because the backing has the dance on it. That's the reason. I actually use the Dark
Rider.
Dark Rider because nobody uses that skin. It's got skulls on the side. I saw it and I was like, what? There's a Sejuani skin that looks like this?
That is the most hipster thing I've ever heard.
Well, nobody used it, so I had never seen it before, and I was like, oh my god, it's like a whole new champion.
Nobody uses it. It has skulls on the side.
Oh,
You're
man.
the most emo goth kid I know.
I gotta go shop at Hot Topic after this. I'm done.
Sounds about right.
Heaven Time now realizing that his blue is gone. He might be an emo kid after that.
I mean, at least he got the enemy blue buff. Can't say it's completely miserable. TSM Darkness, though, really trying to sneak this one. They forced the recall of Veritas and Conquan. So the dual lane is not here, but Heaven Time says, hey, yeah, screw you guys. It's my dragon. And out they go. Good read by Heaven Time.
Yeah. TSD actually are 1,000 gold up off of the bottom lane. Teaser is doing work on Veritas in terms of CS.
Wow, he is absolutely destroying that poor Sivir. Gotta say, well played. The thing is, Nami's so good against Janna in general, though. Like, your general trading power is just...
Oh, yeah.
Just going to far exceed, and the fact that you have sustain as well is really powerful. So Final 5, limping through a very weak lane matchup. 500 gold deficit on the 80 carries. A quick wave clear. Maybe I think they want to buy an item here. Well, I guess no. They forced a pretty bad recall, so it's going to be a fair bit of gold denied away from this Twitch.
Sojin just throwing out the Prey Seeker. Stop it back. He gives away information, though, that he's there. That frees up Heaven Time to make any move that he wants to. He's gonna go clear this pink ward out. But Sojin, I want to keep eyes on him for most of this game because he is the sub right now, the manager of the team. And I want to see how he synergizes with the rest of TSD. They have a lead off of this laning phase so far, but the fact he showed bottom means that Heaven Time gets to make this move top, no problem.
Rux is 6, Heaven Time gets in the front. He's trying to stop the Big Ol' Ron ulti, and in fact, he's doing so quite conveniently. Big Ol' Ron very close to dead, but he gets the ulti up.
Oh!
Flash by Heaven Time makes Big Ol' Ron flash away as well. They trade summoner spells, but they still got the lane lead.
Yep, but that means the fact that they
can try again.
saw him chop, they get to go to this dragon.
Well, good job capitalizing on the bottom lane lead. They weren't able to push the turret down. It's pretty hard with Twitch Nami, so instead they use that lead to push down on the Dragon. And it means 5 attack damage comes in for Twitch. And Rux just took a whole lot of damage just now.
Yep, and there's still enough mana for Big Ol' Ron to continue throwing that harass out. He has a lot of potions too, so Rux is going to be the first one to use his potion. Big Ol' Ron's going to clear this wave and then back and possibly not use his own teleport and just get that type of advantage for himself.
Good bubble. The W gets spell shielded, but Conquan is still slow for this. Plus the Nami. This could almost be first blood, but they do not want to chase him with the exhaust.
Right now, Final 5 in that bottom lane are playing far back. You usually don't see a Sivir get out CS'd just because of the fact that she can clear so quickly.
Right now that's been the case. I want to point something out, by the way. That's an Amp Tome on Heaven Time. He's going Magus Sejuani. I'd be willing to bet.
Okay.
Oh, wow, Sojin. Challenger players really getting scared by jungle camps today.
The jungle is hard, and people talk about how hard it is all the time. It's really hard. The fact that he doesn't have Trailblazer either, he's going Stalkers. Doesn't make it any easier.
Gotta be really good at fighting enemy champions, though, all the same. Maybe we'll see some Rek'Sai ganks come out, but Sojin only level 4, 9 minutes in is actually a pretty slow pace right there. He's actually out-leveled by the supports. It's like the early jungle gambits have really slowed him down a fair bit. Rux in a battle with Big Ol' Ron. Ron, though, winning this one. Misses the Q. But he's up like 14 CS in this lane, though. So I gotta say, the Scion work has been pretty powerful so far. Rushed haunting guys from Ruck, but thing is, he's not going to be in a fight for Dragon anytime soon, as it's dead here, so. And it's not like he's harassing up Big Ol' Ron anyway.
Big Ol' Ron got a bit of a lead, though, because of the fact that he was able to do an extra camp at the start as Scion. It gives you a ton of potions. It's really hard to get him out of lane. They put a lot of pressure, but speaking of pressure, immediately here's the ulti.
Ulti forward, but it hits absolutely nothing. A beautiful bubble hits 2, and it's first blood on the counter gank from Sojin. TP comes in from Ron. He's going to ult right in, and he finds Sejuani under the turret. He gets a slow on a Veritas. The flash from Sivir, but it's not going to be enough to survive. Big Ol' Ron gets a heal, walks away from the turret. That is a 3-0 for TSM Darkness.
Conquan still has his flash, his exhaust, and his ultimate now. Was not able to disengage that fight and help his team out. That ultimate from Heaven Time, though. Oh, man. That's the thing with Sejuani, too, is that ultimate was 3 inches away, 3 Teemos away from being the best ultimate. Whoop. Boom.
Hut.
Almost hit both Teaser and Indivisible.
Oh, wow. Rek'Sai knock-up into bubble. There was no chance for Conquan to do anything. They had to face check the brush. They thought they got stunned.
Yep.
Thing is, they were in the brush when that ulti hit, and just a really nice stun by Big Ol' Ron. The Veritas flash, honestly, a bit excessive. It didn't do anything for him, so a loss of a summoner spell there.
It's one of those situations where as soon as you see the Sejuani ultimate miss, but you have to disengage and just call off the fight, but they got locked up immediately. Yep. Wasn't stunned, bubble, knock up, boom. Combination onto Conquan, no way to disengage it.
All right, so TSM Darkness now really using Sojin's lead 1-0-2 Warrior Enchant to push right into the jungle. Indivisible actually up in the top side with him. Really interesting lane mechanics, or lane dynamics, I should say, by TSD, controlling North Jungle real hard, even though Dragon's up in 2 minutes.
With a Twitch and a Nami, you really kind of want to get the Nami roaming around the map, and then the Twitch just clears waves and leaves, and then shows up wherever with his Q.
You know what's cool, actually?
That way.
Well, actually, what I like about this is you actually really want a one-on-one in the bottom lane. Because Teaser will immediately kill Veritas in any one-on-one.
Oh, yeah.
He can zone him out in perpetuity. And so by Nami roaming, you force Janna to counteract that. No one's here to stop Teaser.
Yep. And Veritas can't, like you said. Avarice Blade, Vamp Scepter.
Yeah. Mid lane, though, much less aggressive. Morgana, no kill pressure. They're going to actually swap their lanes just because the AD carry needs it. They send Zed to the bottom lane. They send Sivir to a short lane where it's really hard for Twitch to get those flank kills.
He can still do it, though.
I mean, sure, he can try, but it's just harder is all I'm saying. For mid for TSM Darkness, Sivir with no real attack damage to appreciate here. Not the best wave clearer. And they can easily pressure this turret down. Gate is alone at the bottom lane. Heaventime forced to move over to help. There's Janna, but he shields Veritas, meaning no damage blocked on this turret. The bubble's going to land, further lowering his damage output, and mid's down to half.
TSD got a really good fight, and now Final 5 are forced to play defensive across the board. Big ol' Ron got 2 assists and was winning this lane already off of the extra potions and sustain trading with Rux. So this lane in top is definitely going in TSD's favor. Sojin has been trying to make moves around the map. He eventually got some.
Ooh. Really smart by Teaser.
Yep.
Blade of the Ruin King, Zed would have been enough to make Teaser force flash.
Oh, he's going
right here. But Nami's there with the exhaust. Ignite's not going to mean much. The bubble does catch in, and Teaser getting a lot of damage on the gate. A great tidal wave catches him. Is the poison going to be enough? Oh no! A shield comes in time from Janna.
Big ol' Ron barreling down. Caught himself a crab.
Fisherman Scion.
I guess a fisherman.
He's almost dressed the part.
I know, I was like, fisherman could also wear flannel
Yeah.
and overalls. I mean, anybody could if they wanted to. That could be hipster Scion, too. He's not necessarily a lumberjack.
Today's North American Challenger Series brought to you by the word hipster.
Very stylish Scion.
He's got horn rim glasses with no lenses.
I don't know why he's got an axe, though.
Because they're awesome.
His swords are so mainstream, man.
Yes.
It's time to carry an axe. Who else carries an axe?
Actually, why didn't the hipster fishermen catch any fish?
Why?
They were too mainstream.
Oh, did you just come up with that?
Yeah, I did. Mid lane turret goes down. TSM Darkness 3-0 in kills, 3-0 in turrets, 2-0 in dragons. This is not the TSD we've seen all season, but these guys are crushing it right now.
I mean, sometimes when you have your manager in the game, your job's on the line. No.
This gank better work or you're fired. It's working for Sojin.
Teaser has actually stepped up a bunch. We talked about how the only games that they had won were ones with him playing top lane Aurelia. Big ol' Ron won his lane. Now, Rux is slowly clawing his way back into it, has his Leandries. Teaser, though, outright just won his lane over Veritas, the #1 solo queue player for weeks.
Yeah.
#1 in Challenger in solo queue and has been for a very long time. I think since the beginning. He was the first one, too.
Yeah. He's just been destroying people left, right, and center. And Veritas with Conquan as a support, I thought, man, he's going to get even better right here. Conquan top 60 in solo queue as well, and just an overall impressive player. But this is one of the biggest weaknesses we've seen this bot lane have right now. Great counterpicking by TSM Darkness.
Man.
The question is, can they snowball this lead further? 4,000 gold lead early on. There's no outer turrets left to kill. Teaser wanting to challenge Gate, but that's pretty brave. Without QSS, he actually can't challenge that. Even with, I just feel like the level deficit's too much to ever win that fight. Sojin spots the moves. They know Janna and Zed both backed up towards Tri-Brush. And the blue trinket actually would have spotted the pink ward in that brush as well. Safe blue buff for Gate. He's going to go back bottom lane.
It's a very interesting build before Heaventime. You talked about how he's getting the Magus enchant. I want to see what else he goes for here. If he goes for something like spell penetration, haunting guys, because that gives him AP, penetration, and HP. Like that's usually the tank slash magic damage Sejuani that you'll see. Because she has decent base damages.
Yeah.
But, oh, double stun!
Oh, the Q could land quickly as well. Get the knock-up onto Sojin, and Rek'Sai about to die. Great Rumble Team's Gate is here as well. Pop sealed onto Teaser, gets exhausted and knocked out, forced to run away right away. And the fight resumes. The Big ol' Ron gets knocked back by Conquan, separates the team, and Scion will be the first casualty after all. They disengage right away from the zombie. And it gives control of Dragon over to TSD.
There's
Final 5 re-engage.
Sojin goes over the wall. This is very bold. They're going to go rush mid lane now from Final 5's side while they're all trailing off and shoving the bottom lane.
Well, good disengage and good return kill. Final 5 looking pretty good on this one. Of course, Dragon's off the map, so that spark, that part of it are actually not very important right now.
Top lane.
Yeah, big wave. Gate goes right away. Good sort of just awareness by Final 5 in this mid game to allocate the resources well. No one's still top side, so it's going to be a lot of gold lost to the turret. In fact, the turret's going to go down most likely.
Rux.
Whoa.
Oh.
Teaser.
Jumped on by Teaser, the Fed Twitch in this game, blowing the Blade of the Ruined King.
Careful, I've seen this fight before. AD carry versus Janna.
I don't know. He has to back off.
Like that. Okay.
Chunk down to half already.
Brutalize will do that. Makes you real good at killing squishies.
Teaser's about to hit his mid-game item spikes here very shortly, I believe, off of that back. Rux was just wanting to clear some waves.
He was silenced too, so there's like nothing he could have done about this. Teaser actually lets him get into the brush and nearly loses the fight because of it. I guess it wasn't nearly. He had like 800 health left, but still.
Yeah. But the fact that he waits around until he silences himself, knows he's trying to clear the wave, jumps Rux, doesn't even let him get the CS.
Rux should have fought him right there. Like, you're overheated. You will not get anything by running away. Like, go punch that guy in the face, make him kite you, and actually Rux would have fought that battle a little bit better. TSD, Arc second has been actually very low impact this game, just clearing mid over and over and over again. Roa into, I'm guessing, Zhonya's here as his build. And he's going to hope that he can just black shield the teammate and survive any burst that comes towards him.
Huh. Rod of Ages is good for Morgana for getting into the fight
build.
And being durable, but not having a cooldown reduction or mana regen item.
Yeah, like Season 2, mid Morgana was pretty common in solo queue. And so there was a couple different builds. There was Death Cap into Zhonya's, which is just like high damage, I'm going to kill you if I land a Q build. And then Roa became pretty common into Zhonya's, so that like you had some durability, so you didn't have to Zhonya's every single fight. And then when it came back in 2015, it was like everyone was playing Lissandra already, and it was like, oh yeah, you do max CDR mages, of course you do, because I want like cooldowns all the way up. But having actual burst threat of Morg, like her ratios are really high. Just getting one rotation off and blowing someone up is not a bad use of Morgana.
No, it's not at all. The thing there is just the cooldown reduction. He's not going for the picks. He's just going for, if I hit binding, you're going to get chunked very hard.
3-man ulti, in comes the rumble, and everyone on TSD incredibly low, but they fire back right away. Heaven Time dies, and no one falls. Big ol' Ron re-engages, finds a knockup. Rux will die for this one. A double kill for the Twitch. Teaser is 5-0-1. Gate forced a flash, slowed by Big ol' Ron. The Q is going to land the knockup. No, Deathmark comes back in. Exhaust is on. Big damage from Veritas. 2 kills traded back. Once again, Final 5 finds something good out of these fights.
Just barely. It's a 2 for 2. The triple ultimate from Heaven Time. Heaven Time's doing work with his ultis. Except for that first one.
Yeah.
But it's really confusing because usually when you play a Sejuani, you're going for a wombo combo comp. Where when you land that type of ultimate, the fight is over before they even get out of the stun. Now it's like we land it, and then Zed gets to throw some shurikens, you get to throw a boomerang blade, and Rux gets to place his ultimate a little.
Yeah.
But that's about all you're getting out of these ultimates. And then they just continue the fight. TSD are already ahead, so they continue to pick it. But it's not so much about that right now. It's about this dragon.
And the dragon's going to go down, so number 1 goes to Final 5. And you talked about how the fight's supposed to be over, but I want you to kind of consider the champions here. So Zed, obviously not a wombo combo champion, but also the disengage power of TSD. Watch what Indivisible does here. He's away, and then this tidal wave is great.
Boom. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Like, that's what I like about Nami, is she doesn't have to be inside the team to disengage. By the way, that's Twitch. Yeah. Pretty powerful. Yeah. He's ahead a little bit.
Just a little bit. Heaven Time does have the ultimate, decides not to go for it. 2 spread out for that. Teaser is now becoming a force that you need to respect at all times. 100% kill participation. We saw his kill participation earlier, 70%.
But
very, very high.
Heaven Time, gotta be careful. Binding will not land, but the jungle is completely controlled by TSM Darkness. These guys up about 3,000 gold here in the game.
This is very interesting because if you look at the builds from TSD, their jungler is going straight for the Aegis of the Legion. Big ol' Ron rushes a Banshee's Veil. These guys are trying to shut down the AP threats of Rux, and a little bit of Heaven Time too. Heaven Time's building AP. He does go for the Haunting guys for the mixture of stats that Sejuani wants, the penetration, the AP, and the HP. But they don't have anything to deal with Gate. They're just manually healing him. And it's been working.
Yeah,
for
it's true.
TSD.
So far, so good. The team fighting of TSM Darkness.
Ooh, Veritas.
Quite nice.
Veritas went for the Bloodthirster first.
He just feels so afraid. BT Shiv will make him more survivable in a fight in general. It is a bit cheaper than Infinity Edge by like a couple hundred gold, so it's really just burst-based using Q and W. Stun, dodged by Teaser, but he gets slowed anyway. There's the knockup, there's the burst, he gets one back beforehand. Trades 1 for 1, and the fight resumes. A nice slow onto Rux. Veritas has to flash the wall. TSD, though, going to pick up their second fight of this one. Zed goes into Indivisible. Deathmark is not lethal because of the heal. Bouncing back to Nami, and a double kill for Arcsec, and makes it 3-1.
Once again, Conquan not able to use his Monsoon this fight. Heaven Time tries to ulti Teaser, one person, and it doesn't hit. These Sejuani ultis are literally hit or miss.
And it's usually been miss here in this case, so TSM Darkness now ready to push top lane tier 2. They're just taking the fights happily and winning afterwards, partially with their gold lead, partially with the fact that you can kill Twitch, but he's going to take one down with you before it happens.
Didn't even have to use his Blade of the Rune King, and now he's got his Youmu's on top of it. And a QSS. So even if you do stun Teaser,
yeah,
he's going to get out of it immediately and continue to pump out damage. Reaching this switch is going to be very difficult.
I really like the quick QSS adaptation. That's one cool thing about AD carries that are ahead is normally need to keep up in item pacing to like make sure you can break down tanks and frontliners, but not only does Final 5 not have any tanks, but he's so far ahead in gold, that detour for QSS still puts him ahead of item break points, ahead of Veritas in item break points. So I'm very looking forward to Teaser's continued domination on Twitch right here. TSM Dark is looking for their second win of the split, their chance to playoffs. Maybe still alive with wins like this.
Yeah, they desperately need to pick up wins here, especially against teams that are near the bottom, or Final 5 right now are actually 3-2. So they're making a statement for themselves that they belong higher up. And with team fights like that, they might be.
And they just force everyone out, and Final 5 just continually kind of willing to fight even when their ultis miss. They got only a slow on Twitch. They're like, let's battle anyway. We're only behind in gold. 1v1 quick QSS Teaser just gets exploded by Gate anyway. Didn't even use Ruin King.
Yeah, didn't have to. Immediately blows him up. Got the QSS, got the Rune King. No Youmu's from Teaser, though. But it didn't matter. And now Gate gets to become this split-pushing threat that nobody can really deal with. He'll blow up Teaser. Arcsec can outplay it a little bit if he throws the binding out right as the ultimate's coming through, but he doesn't have the damage to really kill the Zed.
Well, I think as long as you can just binding, which by the way you can, as long as you're smart about this, you can do it with Ahri with Charm, you can do it with Morgana with Dark Binding. Just binding the Deathmark, Zonies if you have to, but just binding Puddle R will do 90% of Gate's health.
It says they will show up behind you, but they show up on the opposite side that they engaged on you from.
Okay.
Doesn't matter where your orientation is, if I'm facing forward or backward. It's wherever Zed is facing me from, he goes to the complete other side of me from where he casts the ultimate.
All right, so just make the quick 180, press Q, learn the timing. Morgana and Ahri players, destroy Zed that way. See if they can do it, see if Arcsec can do it. But I think he is the guy for the matchup, by the way, because it clearly is not Twitch here. So an answer for Gate, and then they've kind of shown that Teaser can win the fights by himself, so keep the Nami and the Rek'Sai around, and life might be good. See if TSM can keep that pressure up. The game, by the way, back to within 1,400, despite this gigantically, ridiculously fed Twitch, who has been putting the game on his back and destroying teamfights outright. Final 5 within 1,300 can easily make a comeback with one good fight.
Yeah, you just need a good Sejuani ultimate on key members, and then Teaser, if he blows his QSS early, he won't have it for Gate.
True. Maybe Black Chill can come in early enough if he's not around. And that's how it plays. There theoretically is enough counterplay by TSM Darkness that they could win. Looks for the pick.
Nope. Backs away. Teaser decides not to go for it. Even though Rux is back, they had no information regarding that.
The thing is, we talked about Final 5's engages and how the Sejuani ults are hit and miss. TSM Darkness don't really have any good engage tools, period. They have hopeful bindings on a no CDR Morgana. They have hopeful Scion ults, which are really low percentage.
Teaser has a red buff.
They can maybe use Teaser, but then Heaven Time presses Q and runs away. And the rest of the team, by the way, can run back toward Conquan. This is 4.5, where you actually run even faster than before, running towards a Janna. Bubble's going to land. There's no follow-up. There's just no long-range engage tools here, or follow-up tools, I should say, by TSM Darkness.
The bubble was there, but I believe ArcSecond had just thrown out the binding, so it was on cooldown. No way to continue that. Dragon is live. Gate gets the blue buff, and they see it. So TSD kind of stalking around this area.
Getting a little bit of poke down. Rocks off to the side. Bubble gets used. Heaven Time's nearby as well. TSD now forced to the bottom side of the river. They go back up towards the front liners. Final 5 forced to get away from this one. And you can see once again, no, that binding hit. Heaven Time's got to be afraid. Ends the flash ulti. Heaven Time drops. Soju gets the kill credit. The Zonias pops a stun onto Rux. The tidal wave will not land, but Gate is now into the back line. Looks for Indivisible. He's got to be pretty afraid. The pops ult on a Teaser who jumps over the wall. Can't get the kill. Teaser with the outplay. The Mikhail's heal there as well. 2-4-0 TSM Darkness.
Final 5, in order to get into these fights, they need Heaven Time to land an ultimate on multiple people, and he gets caught looking for a position, and it's just an absolute massacre after.
Dragon number 3 picked up. TSM Darkness, we said, you know, they have some troubles getting into fights. Well, now they move a whole bunch faster. Maybe it's going to be even easier for them to bully a lead. And with the resulting 5 versus, well, now 4, they have Cyan push out top, but the other 4 push in the bottom lane with no real defense in sight. Veritas can only do so much. He's wave clearing pretty well. And it looks like it actually will be TSD giving him the room to clear the wave away.
I watched that over again. The black shield came out point blank from ArcSecond, and he absorbed the Sejuani ultimate. You're going to see it here. Goes up, Sej's ultimate goes on cooldown right now. Oh, there it goes. It goes through. It hits Indivisible, and then Teaser cleanses it. So ArcSecond actually just goes right past it. Doesn't care.
Big ol' Ron just actually tanked the backline. You can see the rest of Final 5 had to go back around because of them being separated. So there was no contribution by Severjana.
Yeah. Actually, that's why I don't use this skin. Because
the stun looks different.
The stun is hard to read.
Yeah. Big ice block's really easy to see.
And also it sounds more satisfying too when it hits with the ice, because it just goes and you know you've hit people. Whereas this one's kind of like, and you're like, okay, I don't know if I actually
Can you make that sound effect again? That is not what it sounds like.
That's what it sounds like when you have your W charged.
Oh yeah, the high-pitched whine of like the mace being charged.
But like, the ultimate hitting is just some chains wrapping around them, and it's not as visible. Like, it's hard to tell who you've locked up and how many exactly.
Hey, maybe that's important information you don't want your enemies to have, bro.
But I want it.
All right. Well, mid lane turret being attacked by TSM Darkness. Final 5 want back in. Heaven Time, what can he land with this one? Good equalize, but will it be enough? The turret still stands. It is contributing damage, but Twitch on the backside knocks the turret down. Sojin in the back line versus Gate, and Teaser's gotta take so much damage. Deathmark will kill. Gate gets out just barely. It's a 1-for-0. Is there enough cleanup? Veritas slowed by Big ol' Ron, gets the crit, gets the kill. 2-0 Final 5. What can they take on a counterattack?
Veritas was ignored that fight. They live with all 5 members still up on Final 5 side. They can shove this mid lane down, but Gate immediately going towards his bottom wave where he has a wave pushing up.
All right, let's see if he can get much down here. He can at least get the wave. No one heading yet to the bottom side. It might just be Rek'Sai, but this wave will certainly crash in the turret. A little bit of golden XP denied, but Final 5, no major objectives gained. Rux even loses the turret to just the minion wave that was already pushing. You can see the lead by TS Darkness is so high that at the end of a fight, Final 5 don't even get anything meaningful.
It's the side wave management and the fact that they had 3 members still up. Heaven Time jumps in. He actually gets his ultimate onto Teaser. The black shield is off. Gets it, uses the QSS there. So Teaser doesn't have his ultimate, or sorry, his QSS available for the ultimate of Gate, who flanks from the side and immediately blows up Teaser. Very sustained fight. While all that was going on, and Sojin's like, I have to peel Gate, make sure he can't get to it, Veritas has been pumping out damage this entire time.
Yeah.
The low damage Sivir is now online.
And she is. 3 items completed, and Infinity Edge is next up. I'm surprised to not see Zerker Greaves, though. Pickaxe, I think, actually inferior to Zerker Greaves because getting the movement speed for target choices a bit more important, but whatever. We'll see what that means. Infinity Edge is the next item now for Teaser as well, who is considerably slowed down in this game, actually. 8-3-4, now a CS deficit, even though he was supposed to be winning that bot lane by a massive, massive margin. And so minions are actually what are putting Final 5 kind of equal in this game.
They're actually only 400 gold apart in the 80 carries. So we're going to see it right here.
Well, unfair fight, by the way. 4 people show up and knock down Teaser. TSM Dark is slipping now in the mid to late game. Final 5 with the room to maneuver.
Teaser trying to put the team on his back, but it's breaking his back at the same time. Now Gate has been pushing this bottom wave the entire time. They're going to give up the tier 2 and the gold lead to Final 5.
Wow, bot lane tier 2 going to fall. 100 gold apart.
It's going to take back and forth. Boom, gold lead.
Man, Final 5, their first lead of the game, I suppose. Giant wave top side, engaged by ArcSecond, still has a stun, and out goes Heaventime. He will survive this one. Ignite will not take out the bear. Gate should be away safely as well, so Final 5 really clawing back in here.
Yeah, they have the split push threat of Gate, who's now level 16, has his rank 3 ultimate, so nobody can deal with him at this point. Even Big Ol' Ron is going to get shredded out by the Last Whisper.
Well, yeah, he's got only assists here, 0-4 and 5, not the most menacing score, and honestly fairly low minions as well for a 33-minute game. He's only got 2 completed items. And it's kind of a rough road ahead for Sion here. I think it's still only Morgana who will have a good time against Gate Zed in this game.
TSD been kind of falling apart now. Sojin's been doing a good job, 2-0 and 7 still. But the fact that they didn't push their leader, weren't able to when they were catching Heaventime out of position. It's just the over-aggressive individual plays that they're trying to make.
Yeah. TSD just feeling, I guess, a little bit desperate. And an 800 gold lead for Final 5 as everyone recalls, gets their full resource bars. We're going to see the next team fight over Dragon in 25 seconds.
And here's the thing, too, is Final 5 have so many options. If you wait out the Black Shield and ArcSecond is using it preemptively, throw the ultimate from Sejuani onto Teaser, then he QSS's it, then you get Gate in with his ultimate. That's exactly what they did. And TSD, just look at this lineup. Who's going to do damage when Teaser's dead? It's a very low damage comp. It's very Twitch-centric.
It is. It's Twitch. I mean, you've got 2 supports for a reason. Because you expect Teaser to do well, and he did. It's just a matter of team fighting properly.
But here's the thing: is when Teaser starts playing like very far up,
aggressive and
giving up this lead that he had, he allows them back in the game. And then if your AD carry is worth the same as their AD carry, then it's an absolutely terrible position for TSD. Because they need their AD carry to be able to pull off crazy moves like he was before. He threw away his lead.
Well, keep in mind, it is a team with Twitch. One good team fight, one good spray and pray, and you knock out the entire enemy team. It's something to watch for, absolutely. Big Ol' Ron here in the front line. Dragon is the attempted target here.
It's really on Heaventime's ultimate. Where does he place it?
Puts it right onto Indivisible, and Teaser gets a slow. Great tidal wave, and here comes the spray and pray. Turret number 2, Dragon 2 goes to Final 5. Tears in the back line. Pops QSS, he stays alive. They fire back. Janna is going to go down. Final 5 lose 1 member. They trade back TSD's mid laner. 4 versus 4. Rux goes down. 4v3 for TSM Darkness. The slow onto Sivir. Final 5, though, still wanting to chase Gate. I believe might have to recall. He's got so little health left. That man's going to run mid, actually.
Oh, man. Conquan still has his ultimate, too. There's a lot of times I've been able to say that this game.
That's true.
I don't know if it's just
exploded over and over.
I don't know if it's just coming up right when he dies, but I'm pretty sure he's just holding on to his ultimate and he's getting blown up in these fights.
Yeah, it just looked very unfortunate for that Janna player. Unfortunately, 0-3-8 is not the worst scoreline, but the quality of the play, you're seeing good things and bad things kind of on repeat.
Yeah. Heaventime almost gets a double Sejuani stun. It ends up being a slow, and then Gate jumps in. He actually uses the death mark onto Indivisible and not Teaser. They were right on top of each other, and it's a misclick.
Ouch. QSS used all the same, but it didn't seem to matter too much. A couple kills traded back. Yeah, he actually got, you're talking about Janna. ArcSecond just chased him down.
Yep.
He got the ulti, Janna flashed, still got chased with Black Shield on. The ulti didn't do anything. Could have popped it for healing, I suppose. It might have been worth it, but overall, it was Conquan dying.
Yep. It's just he's not able to disengage these fights, and they don't have magic damage enough to break the shield when he puts it up.
They really don't.
And he's not the main focus either. They're all on Teaser, trying to get to Teaser.
Yep. Well, we'll see what can happen now for the rest of this fight. I'm actually a little bit surprised that ArcSecond isn't just always black shielding Teaser and just popping Zhonya's as zone control. Like, they're really not just playing around Twitch. ArcSecond's kind of making his own plays in team fights. I'm not sure that's the ideal way to play it, but that is the way they're doing it right now. TSM Darkness taking down Baron Nashor, 7,000 health, and they've got ward control. Final 5, not really looking forward to this at all. It's going to be a completely clean Baron take. Sojin smites early, doesn't matter. Final 5 only now aware of this. And in comes Big Ol' Ron. He wants this fight, can't quite land it. No, he actually gets a slow, gets another slow. No follow-up.
Very, very clean Baron there, under the nose of Final 5. And now TSD, they gave themselves a slight gold lead off of that. It's worth about 5 kills.
And gonna put themselves back up 400 here. They might need to buy sometime soon. Infinity Edge done actually on teaser means that they fight sooner rather than later. They're gonna have that spike over Veritas. Definitely worth keeping in mind. That is a very, very important power spike. Arc second, I believe he stole the big Wraith. What a jerk.
Yep. Heaventime now going completely tanky, trying to shut down the damage that Teaser is going to deal instead of going for the magic damage. He just wanted to be able to do some damage in this. And now they have to wave clear this, but they don't have a lot of wave clear. Gate is actually over on the side. This is really Sivir's job at this point.
Yeah, Sivir does an okay job. The melee is the hard ones to kill. They take reduced damage from champions, so it takes some time.
It's like
but
80%.
Yeah, TSD have no siege. Twitch has no escape tools. He could rely on Black Shield, but he's got no flash, meaning at some point you're still going to get caught. Gage could do something interesting here. This is actually a nice back.
He's waiting for Teaser. He's waiting for Teaser.
Teaser's there. He's got QSS, though. The turret goes down. Okay. Oh, he goes for the flash gun, gets another Teaser. He popped QSS. This is dead, doing a whole bunch of damage, and a shutdown goes into Rek'Sai. What else can happen? 2 dead here. Final 5 in a 5 versus 2 now. In comes Heaventime for a big ol' Ron. The Scion ulti is down, and the Sejuani Q is up again soon. Nice slow by Ron. Conquan, though, in range to land the Zephyr. There comes Zed. It's going to be big ol' Ron dying for this one. The bigger they are, the harder they fall. And Scion is dead. Final 5 in a 5 versus 1 for 22 seconds. They've got a wave in the bottom lane. This could be an inhibitor.
They're just going to shove all the way up. They'll be able to get this inhibitor. You saw them tanking it a little bit earlier, even without minions. They can just walk up to this, get the inhibitor turret very quickly, and then get that inhibitor too. Heaventime just doesn't even care. They just want to get it, even with the backdoor bonuses.
And here's the push on in. Heaventime tanky enough. There's the wave. Baron buff not seeming to matter. Now Twitch has respawned. Rek'Sai's up too. Final 5 does have to run away from this one, but they should be able to pretty cleanly.
The fact that it is the QSS onto the Sejuani ultimate, and then the ultimate from Zed immediately. Zed was in that bush. It's one of those situations where, like, how did nobody check that bush? Gate was so patient sitting in that brush. They gave up the turret, but it gave him the positioning he needed onto Teaser and the element of surprise.
Yeah, and more important, Heaventime landed the ulti, forced the QSS out early from Teaser. Made him QSS the actual stun there.
This is just a beautiful glacial prison. It's like, all right, Q, flash, throw the ulti. QSS Teaser's already hit the QSS when he doesn't really have vision of Zed. Speaking of vision of Zed, he's gone.
Poof. Rek'Sai disappeared before your very eyes. Gate also a magician.
His body disappeared too. Where'd Sojin go?
Down into the void. What is Rek'Sai's death animation?
Kind of curls up.
I can't kill them because they're so overpowered.
Kind of curls up like an insect.
Ah, okay.
Like something that just killed an insect is like curls inside itself. It's like if an insect had a fetal position.
Okay. Aren't they spawned from eggs? Insects?
Eggs, yes.
Okay.
That's why I said if they had a fetal position.
Right, I know. I'm backing you up here.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Once in a while.
You don't do that very often.
I know.
So I was like, oh my god.
You're very rarely correct about things.
Wow, thank you. Thank you for that.
The backhanded compliments are real here, guys. Final 5. Dragon number 3, 41.5 minutes in. Scoreline basically equal. Rek'Sai screaming as she comes in to join the team. Big ol' Ron wants to start this fight. No stun lands. Ron forced a flashback out, takes a whole big burst. Heaventime, though, incredibly low. Arc Second zones the team out, flashes away. The poison is maybe going to take down Heaventime, and in fact, it does. The 2 for 0 so far. And in comes Teaser, tries to knock down Veritas. He's lifesteal tanking pretty successfully. But 2 members already dead.
Rux is TPing to the base.
Oh my god, Rux wants to end it, but in comes Big ol' Ron to defend.
He's half HP.
I don't know if it's going to be enough. He's trying, certainly. And the rest of Final 5 recalling to defend their own base. It's essentially a base race. Rux has super minions. Big ol' Ron does not deal much damage, but nor did he take very much as well. Looks like Rux is chasing Big ol' Ron out of the base. The super minions knocked away, so the mid inhibitor goes down, and there's no tank left to knock down the Nexus turrets. Rux TP gets 1 turret, but no more, and mid inhib goes down.
He holds off. Big ol' Ron gonna try to re-engage this. Woo!
Oh, the juke by Rux. That was slick.
The slow and the speed away.
Don't get too close. It's going to slow you.
Oh, don't worry. He's got his Galactic Hyper Barrier. He's good.
It already timed out, though. Minions. Minions.
Oh, another turret for Rux?
Oh, that's a bit greedy.
Just a little bit of a
enough
left
to get the
tap.
turret down. Gate running away quickly. Indivisible not getting jumped on. Veritas, though, overextended.
Oh!
Spell shields for long enough to get away from expunge range. And life steals off a minion, but back in goes Gate, picks up Rod. Wow, Rux flashes out. He nearly killed Sojin. What is this game? Tideway is going to miss.
What is happening?
And oh no, Teaser drops down. He got re-engaged on. Individual's going to drop. Final 5. Are you serious? They're about to close this game out.
They just picked up so many stragglers.
No, run down. You don't get that turret.
TSD, they were all over the place. 45 seconds on Teaser at this point, and they're just going to ride this wave into the turret. It's already weakened.
2 versus 4. Rux on the other side. Double super minions right here on the bottom side. Is there going to be a miracle by Arc Second? He doesn't have a lot of time to work with, though. The minion waves are still here. Heaven Time, though, maybe a bit aggressive. Arc Second pops the Zonias after going on in, but there's no one to get stunned. Gate putting a big chunk of damage down. They trade back into Heaven Time, though, but there's a second Nexus turret. That's going to be the game. Final 5, 2-0 in a ridiculous match.
And in completely ridiculous fashion in the last 4 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
That was absolutely crazy. That is a heart-breaking loss for TSM Darkness. They were crushing the bottom lane. They crushed the mid game, and they couldn't team fight.
Veritas ends the game 100 CS up over Teaser. Teaser just stopped CSing once they started grouping up, and he started going for assassination kills. And then when they stopped working out and he started being the focus every time, because it's just like, Teaser's the damage, get the damage dealer, 100% focus on him.
Yeah.
There was no way they were going to win those fights. They did win one, though, off the back of some pretty poor play from Final 5.
Yeah.
And then they're like, no, time to switch on crazy mode. And they just threw so much and tested TSD's shot calling to the limit there, and they weren't able to hold up in those critical seconds.
Man, that was absolutely incredible. We talk about Veritas a little bit more. So he got destroyed in lane.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Destroyed. Final score, 8-2 and 6. That's the line of just like, oh yeah, you had a really good game. Good job, Saver. Fool got destroyed in lane, and he lane swapped with Vamp Scepter Average Blade mid lane so he could find farm somewhere.
Yeah.
Threw Gate to the garbage lane. By the way, Gate beat Teaser in one-on-ones. And everything worked for Final 5. I have nothing but nice things to say about how they capitalized and regained composure that game. But it just makes it even more disheartening for TSM Darkness, who, by all rights, they had that game.
Yeah, they definitely had that at the start. And in the mid game, too, Twitch hit those power spikes, trying to blow people up. Teaser got caught off of his over-aggression multiple times. Oh, man, that is heartbreaking.
It is heartbreaking. TSM Darkness, they fall to 1-5 in the North American Challenger Series. It does bring their opponents, though, up to 4-2 here, so they're only 1 game behind enemy Esports. So far, it looks pretty darn good for Final 5. Yeah. Their new support, they've gone 2-0 with them. Only generally good things to say about that team for now, but right now, our team is pinging us to take a break. But when we return, we're going to have our final fight of the night. It's going to be Team Fusion, going to battle against TDK in 3.5 minutes. Don't go anywhere. He's going to ult right in, and he finds Sejuani under the turret. He gets a slow on a Veritas. The flash from Sivir, but it's not going to be enough to survive. 3-man ulti. In comes the Rumble, and everyone on TSD incredibly low, but they fire back right away. Heaven Time dies. Oh, he goes for the flash gun, gets it on a Teaser. He popped QSS. This is dead, doing a whole bunch of damage, and a shutdown goes into Rek'Sai. Incredibly low. Arcsecond zones the team out, flashes away. The poison is maybe going to take down Heaven Time, and in fact, it does. The 2 for 0 so far. Hey everyone, welcome back to the North American Challenger Series, and our final game of the evening will kick off in just a little bit. Now as the team's ready up in the lobby, let's check out the highlights from last night when TDK clashed with Team Fusion.
This was our longest game of the night yesterday, and very back and forth. You can see TDK, there used to be some question about their team comps that they're drafting, like a Vladimir top. Last week, it was Mundo Mundo for Seraph, with huge poke being thrown at them. Saw some bans from Fusion at the Nidalee and Kyle's Jace, which shut that down. And then they ended up with a composition that has good wave clear, good mixture of damage here, and ultimately great engage and has some siege.
Yeah, honestly, just a very well-rounded team. Generally, on the offensive side of all things, they're disengaged, not amazing, but as long as you pick good fights, you're fine here. On the side of enemy Esports, though, or sorry, not enemy, Team Fusion, they have a questionable tank line, not the best engaged. They just sort of are relying on Huhi to split push to try to keep the team apart, and then, look, their siege is okay afterwards, but it's just sort of chaotic what their team comp actually does. So I want to roll this game and actually show you what happened throughout this match.
Yeah, last week we saw Fusion actually lose when they didn't have a tank line as well, and it was Nintendude, again, this week, being their sole frontliner. Getting pinched in, though, in an operation, turns it around on Louis, and he gets the wild growth. But ultimately, it's Nintendude.
Yeah, his overall is very chaotic. You know, he gets traded in, dies, Chunky Fresh, like really smart by Luigi G, stays right outside of range of the Glitter Lances, just makes that happen. Smoothie with a great flash ulti lands onto 2, and it's really clean, easy follow-up. By the way, Seraph over the wall. Hi, Niantanso. They saved the last Zero ult for that one as well. TDK just able to engage. And Fusion, they don't have anything to really force. Like, okay, maybe we can pick up Seraph here. Maybe we can do some damage. But Seraph with a beautiful outplay. Watch this. Ready? Dodges the ulti from Niantanso. Picks up 2 kills by himself.
Remember when Seraph first came over to NA and he was streaming Yasuo and Lissandra top, even when they weren't meta? Now Lissandra's meta, and he gets to make all these great plays. But you can see here, 25 minutes in, TDK are on the inhibitor, but they take a terrible fight here that's engaged by Fusion on top of them.
Yeah, they go a little bit too hard. Huhi stays alive throughout all of it. In the end, this is what the comp's good at. They have a Jinx. Jinx does things late game. Has a red buff, 2, 4, and 3 right now. Kyle versus a flash away. The 5 versus 1 gives them Baron, but here's a great flank. This TP from Lissandra.
Watch Seraph. He comes in with home guard from the back, right onto Niantanso, and he is obliterated 48 minutes into the game after Fusion had a huge turnaround. You can see there, they are up 3k gold when that fight starts. They slingshotted back into the game, and then TDK wrestled the lead off that fight, and they end the game only being up 1 turret in gold at the very end.
Yeah, 79 point to 78 point gold right there. The thing is, that one flank fight, I think it surprised even Fusion a little bit. The Lulu ult was still up, the exhaust in their support was still up. They just could not keep Nian alive through the burst that came out from the offensive comp of TDK. You can see the individual contributors, 20,000 gold Seraph, 10, 3, and 2, crushed that game.
Man, I don't give MVP, like we don't give MVP here, but Seraph has been MVP in the 3 games that he has played in the last 3 that have been victories for them. That flank was on a pink ward too, so he knew that they couldn't see him, and he was immediately home guarding straight onto Niantanso.
Yeah.
That was a beautiful, just game-winning play there.
And the team actually finally finds a way to play around Seraph properly. So far, so good. The Siege champions as well, looking pretty decent for Kyle also. I still hope teams will actually keep banning Jace. So far, Fusion did that. It wasn't enough just yet. But the matchup we'll be watching is actually that one in the mid lane. Kyle going up against Huhi. Now, Kyle has had kind of middling results. Of course, TDK started out 0-2, and your scoreline's going to reflect that. But they've now won 3 straight. 2 Jace games in a row. Then he played Xerath. So far, so good.
Yeah, his poke style, his sieging style is something that needs to be tested. Banning him out and forcing him onto other champions. See what he can play aside from the Jace, aside from the Xerath, because this is a very prolonged tournament. He needs to be good on multiple champions.
And on his other side, though, is Huhi, who's been showing most of his success on champions like Zed. His assassination play has been good. You can see his CS difference is really good. He is the most dominant mid laner right now, but it's not been enough yet for Fusion. They're only 2 and 3 so far, 5 games in.
Yeah, split push central here for Huhi. He loves the champions that just do their own thing. Even his LeBlanc becomes a split push LeBlanc.
It just makes the individual plays, and honestly, when you've got individual contributors that good, in Challenger, you're typically, your shot calling isn't quite as good as the pro level, and you wouldn't expect it to be, since it's the level right below that, and so just splitting in creating pressure all the time, you're going to create weaknesses. You're going to poke holes in enemy teams, and you're going to win games that way. We'll see if Fusion can do that right here. But TDK poised to tie for second at 4-2 if they can win here. Fusion, they expect to be a top team. We talked to Nian in week 1 and said, yeah, got a few kinks to work out. I'm still, working with everyone else with Trance and everything. We're gonna get this going, don't worry. And hey, they're the only team to beat enemy esports so far, but they're starting to slip down all the same.
Yeah, they actually are 2-3 right now up against TDK, who are 3-2. TDK are on a 3-win streak. Right. 3DK, I guess.
It works.
It all works.
It
but
does.
most of that has been off the back of Seraph being allowed to be in a carry role. He doesn't have to be the tanky top laner. He can be a carry top laner, and he still does that on Mundo as well.
Well, he picked in the right comp, Mundo into a poke comp. They can't deal with that champion, and you saw it worked very well. So the bans come out. Seraph actually banning out his own Lissandra. No LeBlanc for Huhi. And obviously the Jace does go away from Kyle, because who would let that man get that champion?
Yeah, you don't want to let him have that champion. This could actually be a Nidalee for Huhi. We'll have to see. It's most likely for Nintendo. See if he can dominate the jungle there. Thing that's questionable here is no ban towards the Aurelia. TDK have to ban out the Lissandra in place of that. They banned out Aurelia yesterday. So Chunky Fresh, the thing with him is with the losses here for Fusion are usually when he's playing Lulu. They make it so he's not a tanky frontliner. They take away his Scion. They take away his Aurelia.
Yeah.
Now
Aurelia,
he gets it.
Right, he played Aurelia in 3 games, Lulu in 2 when he couldn't get that champion. You expect him to go back to this one here. It's not really a Seraph champ, so you expect that to come in for free. Kez picking in Rek'Sai early, and it's just surprised to me that they would ban a champion that they had success with this Lissandra, and then pick an uncontested jungler first round. These guys aren't willing to show anything in their first few picks.
So here's the thing too, is if you don't ban the Lissandra, you ban the Aurelia instead. If Fusion first pick Lissandra, you get Kez Nidalee.
Right.
If they first pick Nidalee, you get Seraph Lissandra.
Yeah. TDK
don't know if it was
not
necessary.
Wanting to rush any of their picks, though. The Aurelia does come in for Fusion before anything happens. The Corki, Fortney, and Tonso want some early game power and a mid-game spike as well with the Triforce rush. So Fusion, right now they've got 2 18-minute power spike champions.
Yeah, they do. They have champions that hit that power spike, hit that stride. They are very troughed early, but Nintendo can take care of that with Nidalee.
Yeah. I mean, and Corki's just a pretty good laner overall. Very few bad matchups. Sivir probably the worst one, and she is common, but we'll see if that ends up being picked regardless. Got to see what matchup Seraph wants against Chunky Fresh, since he's going to get a comfort pick there in the top lane. TDK also, we don't know what kind of comp they're running. Sona and Rek'Sai fairly generalist. And it's going to be Zed. They take that away from Huhi, and they're going to show, I assume, Kyle, not Seraph, on an assassin mid laner.
Okay, this is really good because he's only played things that have long distance on them. Ezreal, Azir, Jace, Xerath is what he's played. Right. All of those are very safe champions. Now, Kyle has to show his deep fight mechanics. What can he do in the middle of a huge pile of people? And he takes that away from Huhi, which is absolutely brilliant because Huhi would just split on that champion. You took away his LeBlanc as well. Now you're going to force him on something else, and there it is. It's the Ezreal. Or it's the Corki.
Interesting. So
switch.
Double AD comp going to be here for Fusion. They do have a front line with Aurelia and Alistar. They have some magic damage with the Nidalee. And heck, they've even got crowd control. So I got to say, Fusion's team comp well-rounded overall in this double AD comp. So I have to see just how they want to poke with all of their advantages this comp has. Rockets, javelins, Ezreal Qs. See what they can do with this.
It's the beauty of Nidalee jungle is it frees up a lot of double AD compositions because now you can have 2 tanks and not have one of them be your jungler.
That's true. Right. Now Alistar doesn't even need farm to be a tank. You press R and you got to respect that champion all the same. TDK, the last pick, comes in for Kennen in the top lane. They seem to be happy to let Chunky Fresh play Aurelia because Seraph wants to play Kennen into it. Double ninjas here. The engage plenty strong. Kennen, Graves, Sona, jump in. Even Rek'Sai can help a little bit with the knock-up there. Dive in, blows people up. And it's a fairly squishy team.
You still just point and click the Kennen out of the fight with Alistar.
That's true.
I'm not sold on it just yet. The Kennen pick is a little strange. You'll win lane a little bit versus the Aurelia. You'll have the auto attacks and the advantage, and you'll keep him down. But Aurelia will eventually do Aurelia things after the 20-minute, 18-minute mark. Kennen needs to get into these team fights. And the split push threat, I think eventually will just be Aurelia splitting against Zed.
Yeah, and that is a matchup I've seen actually go both ways. Zed has the ability to force the kill. Aurelia doesn't always, but we'll see how the gold flows into this game. Now, Team Fusion has a pretty good poke top this time around, but in last week, TDK used it in consecutive games to sweep TSM Darkness, and you can read all about that at lolesports.com.
Under the Features tab, the write-up also has details on XPeke's new team, Origin, and how they used a triple AP comp to take out Reason Gaming last week.
Yeah, a bunch of fun games, the Challenger Series, NA and EU overall. If you want to watch the off-air games, those are up as well for your viewing pleasure. So if you want
VOD Hub.
Yep.
Under VODs.
VOD Hub is quite nice overall. I got to say, happy things about lolesports.com. And in general, we're going to see the fight for roughly third place in the standings here. Fusion wants to get themselves back up to 3-3 to make sure they've got a good road ahead of them on the route to playoffs. But if with a loss here, they're down to only 2 wins, and it's a kind of grim road. TDK, though, proving that they're maybe exceeding expectations. They were, I want to say, one of the weaker teams power ranking-wise coming in to the Challenger Series. But if they 2-0 Fusion, they are clearly a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, they've only been 0-2'd by Enemy so far, but at this point, who hasn't? Enemy are having great showings. The only people who haven't are Fusion, right? TDK, the only thing that sticks out to me is when they draft something that's very questionable, how do they do throughout the laning phase? Also, TDK could have won that previous game at the 25-minute mark. We saw them on the inhibitor.
That's true.
And then they allowed Fusion to slingshot back in by positioning poorly for that last fight.
All right, well, let's see what happens in this one. Fusion going for the early invade trance. Golden Alistair, it seems.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
And gets that deep ward that, of course, does get spotted on the minimap by TDK. Both teams aware of these lane swap wards. But it wouldn't be too hard for the teams to duck back into Darkness, recall, and pick their lanes blind anyway. I want to see what Seraph does. He knows a ward's up there. And he's going to show.
Here's the thing, though, is...
Oh, he doesn't? Oh, no. I didn't realize you could actually bypass that one.
Whoop. Hug the wall. He's a ninja.
That was how much I know.
He's a ninja. Oh, wow.
He does it anyway.
They didn't see you, Seraph. Here's the thing, though, is Seraph actually went on a great kind of solo operation, and he got a ward in the top lane over the wall. So they will know whether or not somebody backs and jukes them out.
Well, let's see. The lane matchup is going to be 2-on-2. TDK, I got to say, this looks like a way better matchup for those guys. Graves, Sona, real strong early on. Now, there is some threat of Alistair Corky bursting you as levels accrue, but that's like level 3 or higher only. Fusion wanting to fast push this as fast as humanly possible. And it looks like they
don't want it.
Don't want the 2-on-2. Okay, I take it. Yeah, so right, the early levels, way better for the poke team of Graves, Sona. That's one of the cool things about Targons, by the way, is it helps you clear that wave that much faster. And it means that they're not going to miss too terribly much in the lane swap. Chunky Fresh, level 2.
Solos it.
Recall, TP to the lane.
Misses out a little bit on the waves, but it's not that big a deal because he gets to solo that camp. He's also not going to get too much in this lane since it is going to be frozen against him.
Trance helping Nintendo a little bit. It looks like a double buff start for Nidalee. That's going to be just fine. Smites it for health. Seraph 2.5 before he finds lane opponents. Problem is he has built a freeze for Fusion. But being Kennen, he's not under all that much threat. We'll see though when Nidalee comes in for a potential gank. Alistair, Nid, Corky has a lot of kill pressure.
Transcending level 2. Now he's just going to be on zone duty.
Yeah, Seraph won't get XP anymore.
Yep.
He shouldn't anyway.
And here's the thing too, is Kennen is not the greatest of solo junglers at all. He'd have to pair up with the jungler, but it's not going to...
How do you know to be afraid of
that? Tremor Sense?
Oh, if Nintendo was moving, yeah.
Yeah.
Good call. I forget that exists for some reason.
Oh man, I forget that it doesn't exist on other junglers. Like I sit around in a bush as Nidalee and I'm like, why did I not see him? Where's my OP radar? 10 dudes looking. Oh, Louis used his E there.
Gosh, ooh, there's the knockup though. Smoothie wants to take the fight. Look at that. Yeah, heals it right back up. Gets 8 gold for attacking Trance. All is well once more.
He has to back up. Kez in that top lane Nintendo is now just on siege breaking duties. He's the ambulance. He gave him a heal. Chunky Fresh, a little bit healthier than he was before.
Yay, he's going to survive. All right, so Irelia soloing under turret, happily farming with that Q. So far, pretty easy for him. Got that one, but good poke back by Louis GG. So Chunky Fresh, though he's chugging some flash charges, and by the way, he did not use his teleport to get back to lane, does have some decent sustain. But it's not like Ken and Sona's a bad lane overall. It's like almost as bad as like the old duo lane was. Like Fusion didn't get anything better here.
Man, do you ever play AD Kennen?
No.
Don't. It's not that great.
Didn't it win a game in the EULCS back with Dragonborns?
Oh, I don't know. It might have.
I think it definitely did.
It's not absolutely terrible, but it's just like building like AD carry LeBlanc, right? Except AD carry LeBlanc might be a little better.
Hey man, AD carry LeBlanc hasn't won a game in the LCS yet.
That's true. That's very true.
Well, Fusion happy to keep this 2-on-2 though. Looks like Nia not really getting poked out too hard. I guess the lack of buckshot makes it a little bit easier. No, that's still good though.
Seraph CSing decently well, and now the wave just keeps shoving into him.
The Trance now level 4 also has a sustain to make this lane not too hard either. Trance, he doesn't really cast anything offensive, has pretty much nothing to worry about mana-wise. He can keep this Corki healed up. So far, the case. Rek'Sai keeps a lot of wards up for Louis GG, so really no threat on this Graves. He's going to get to free farm. 41 minions so far. Pretty soon they'll be up to BF Sword money. Kaz looking mid, but I can't expect Huhi to really be killable. Zed, I think, does hit 6 this wave, though.
Who he ease at all. It's definitely an all-in. Oh, what? It looked like he might
He
go
jumped for the shadow, but he was too far away. Deathmark didn't go through. Trance landing a bit of a combo onto Seraph, getting some more poke down. Nintendo going through a ward, but Louis GG and Chunky Fresh in the battle right now. Jumps right back in. Here comes the TP in from Seraph. Only level 4 on the Kennen. Nintendo does not want that fight.
Here comes the ulti. Whoa!
Ooh.
Oh,
I'm
man.
surprised they didn't stay if they can do that kind of damage with Ezreal. Just like ult on the minion as it's TPing and be like, burst this, go.
Nintendo just has to land a spear, and then he can just completely obliterate Louis GG. Louis would have to flash, yeah. Louis...
It's a fairly wasteful ult. He could have like 2 CS.
Yeah.
Let's see, that's enough. Yeah, I guess that ult gave him like 1 more potion on the recall, so I can't completely hate on that choice. But the ulti will be down
do
in
it,
a
Freak.
minute.
Hate on it.
I mean, it's not the worst idea in the world. Apparently, according to you, AD Kennen is the worst one. So, only one drinking haterade today is you.
Ooh. I think AD Kennen also doesn't have that bad of a, like, attack speed, base attack speed.
No, it's actually real good.
So the multiplier on it is actually pretty decent when you get Phantom Dancer. And the fact that W is multiplied by attack damage.
Yep.
It's pretty good.
No, you basically max W and go Blade of the Ruin King. You get your W up all the time. You'd re-trigger it for like extra magic damage burst.
Yep.
You know, self-heal, things like that. I mean, there were tools that made it work, which is why it got played. It's just not as efficient as something like Jinx.
And like 550 range is great. Pretty average for an AD carry.
However, Seraph is building magic penetration and ability power this game, so it doesn't really mean that much here.
Helps his W.
Yeah.
Helps all his abilities. But the fact that you start the Doran's Blade is just for the laning phase. He does come out of the laning phase 10 CS up over Chunky Fresh. They swap it back after the first item buys here of Sheen and BF Sword for the AD carries. And now...
This is overall better for TDK, though.
Yeah.
BF Sword's better than Sheen, and Sork Shoes are better than half a Phage, so the sort of secondary laning phase...
They saw Nintendo go in.
Oh, hold on. Chunky Fresh actually doing an amazing job of pushing around Seraph. It's way more damage than I expected it to be.
Nintendo's coming up. They see him. The Spirit... Oh, nope. Yeah, they were stalking him all the way through. Kez saw Nintendo walk up to the red.
Oh, dude, Chunky Fresh, though, was 6. That's actually one big breakpoint, though, is he was getting solo XP, so he's just ahead in that 1v1. Louis GG getting poked around. Nien, he's 6, so he's fine. Like, Corki's going to do his job.
Constantly poke this bottom wave. Now that the 2-on-2 is crashing against each other, though. Oh,
look at
the
this burst
knockoff.
damage, though. Wow, they're going to go right for Louis GG. Exhaust is on. The flash in. First blood for Nien Tanso. Smoothie forced to run. Trance with some really good setups. Oh, God. Oh, no. Smoothie, why did you do that? Niantanso eviscerates the poor Sona. The DJ is down.
Foster's bomb does a little more damage than you would think.
Yep.
I mean,
And I really thought BF Sword Grave's going to do well, but he didn't have his ultimate.
Yep.
And, well, actually he probably did, just didn't cast it. He almost definitely had his ultimate.
Yeah. Oh, man, Kez going on some missions here, but Nintendo really wants this red. He's been stalking it for a long time. Chunky Fresh.
I mean, Nintendo's just massively outplaying him. He's up like 16 CS and a level in this jungle. Kez has been entirely useless this game. Oh, no!
Got it!
Nintendude! Pulling a terrible smite.
That was off of a Prey Seeker.
Yep.
Oh, wait, no, it was off of a
It was
smite.
an early. Well, they both smited, but Kez got a Prey Seeker onto it. Niantanso
could see it.
takes the Graves ulti, but Valkyrie's out, and Luigi G is not going to do anything for this one.
Yep.
He can clear the wave really efficiently, but...
Q and smite Seraph. Oh, boy.
Oh, he swiped early. And didn't land that on the Seraph just yet. But you know what? Still pushes him out of lane. Chunky Fresh has dive potential because the ulti is up on this this Aurelia. And Fusion looking real good in the laning phase.
And Nidalee isn't as brainless as you would think. I used to play her by rubbing my face all over the keyboard, but I found out there's a certain order in which you have to hit them.
Really?
Yeah,
You can keep track of orders as a jungler?
sometimes. Usually I just walk up to the camp. QW.
Sounds like junglers.
Yep. I mean, with Nidalee especially. Oh,
What are mana costs?
cool thing is Nidalee gets an auto attack reset every time you transform from Cougar to human or human to Cougar. So you can actually instant kill a ward by auto Cougar Q. Auto Cougar auto attack Q, because it instantly Qs the auto attack. So if somebody's running away from you and they have like one auto left and they're out of range, just swap into human even if you just hit them as Cougar and you get that extra auto.
Nice.
So you have 2 auto attack resets.
That's true, yeah.
It's pretty crazy for clearing.
Well, all the more reasons to hate on junglers.
Just Nidalee. Just Nidalee.
Okay. We're going to see the secondary bottom lane matchup, though. Phage in for Niantanso and level 7 means more scary phosphorus bombs. They've got the lane into a freeze as well, which means there's nowhere to really run for the dual lane. Rek'Sai, though, is here to back up TDK. Nintendude is still down there in his own jungle.
It's a pink ward, too. So if Smoothie can get an ultimate... Oh, there's the engage.
They're going to go in for Smoothie. In comes Kez. The ulti not going to land on him much. Trance has already bopped the ulti, so no damage meaningfully to Alistar. Trance does have Flash. A Flash 2 could mean a kill. Chunky Fresh taxes the lane.
All he has to do is pop that ultimate, and Alistar is completely safe from the follow-up. Kez tries to get on Niantanso, but very easy backup there. Whoop. Doesn't even thin out the wave. Almost nothing for that. Ooh, he just gets a little bit of HP off of it. So Seraph is actually going to take this turret.
Yeah, pre-11, Ezreal does not clear minion waves with ultimate. In fact, you can only screw yourself. Like if you're, by the way, if you're AD carry Ezreal, never ult your own wave on the way back to lane. The minions will die to the turret faster, and you'll miss out on the golden experience. Unless you're like saving the turret specifically, you actually tax yourself by ulting from base. Never, ever, ever do this.
What if you have 2 BF swords and you're super fit?
If you're somehow level 11, like before minions have a lot of health, like sure, but that's basically never going to happen. Bottom lane, though, pressured in by Nintendo, sticking with the team. Alistar is there for zone defense as Kez is coming around the side.
TP2.
Flashes up on Rek'Sai, goes in, gets Niantanso, and here comes Seraph, gets headbutted back in. He's just zoned away, but the burst comes through. Deathmark in as well. Kyle does get the kill. They threw everything but the kitchen sink at the bot lane, and it sticks.
There's the kitchen sink. I see it right there. They threw that in there, too. Seraph flashing at the last second, still doesn't even get in on the fight. Meanwhile, Huhi shoving the mid wave, shoving the mid lane. He can't really do anything there, because if he went after Kyle, Kyle just turn on him instead. Following his Zed's difficult.
Here's the thing, though. Fusion got more out of this. TDK didn't follow up that kill with anything meaningful. They didn't stay in the bottom lane, push the turret down. They just simply recalled and walked back to lane. They lost like 2 waves mid, 2 waves top lane, a turret top lane as well. And honestly, an overcommit for only a single kill for TDK.
Seraph did push out that wave and get the turret beforehand, though.
Okay.
So
Well, that was from Chunky Fresh's bad
yeah,
bad
bad
TP,
TP, and then he had TP advantage and just TP'd down there. for that fight. But like you said, they didn't push the bottom wave. They didn't push the bottom turret to get themselves even more of an advantage off of that.
And with Dragon being down, there's nothing to do with 5 people bottom lane except for the turret. And, you know, unfortunate choice of resources, TDK actually fall behind for that aggressive move.
And it's things like that, that when the next fight happens, will Seraph have his flash available? Will Kez have his flash available up against all the flashes up on Fusion's side? So you take a fight like that, you blow your flash, and you're like, okay, we got nothing off of that. And then the next fight, what if the enemy team utilizes those flashes, and then they get more off of the fight?
Oh, sure.
Right? It's almost the same value type of fight, but then the fact they get more off of it just blows it out of proportion.
Absolutely possible, so we'll see if that does happen. 2 minutes until Dragon. 2 flashes got blown for TDK. No flashes blown for Fusion. Ezreal used to clear mid lane one more time, but he will have that back up. Plenty of gold earned still by Smoothie. Sightstone here for both junglers. Pink Horde and a few inventories here as well. Double item spike is there for Kyle, who he, identifying the fact that he's facing a Zed, does go for the blue build. Gets the early Glacial Shroud.
Woo! Where's the roof? It's a crazy
Nowhere
animation
anymore.
there.
That's pretty awesome. I like it. Bot lane turret goes down. Nintendude showing up bot lane multiple times. He's got a winning lane. He showed up just to support the push. Just to make sure that when something goes down, he's there to defend it, knocks that turret down, gets outer turret, and now with a minute till Dragon, bot lane's pushed so far in, Fusion get ward control over the jungle.
Yep. They get over that east side jungle. Now it's a gank onto Kyle in the mid lane. But they're not going to get anything for it. It's just wave management at this point. Seraph, though, no flash.
Gets a stun on a Chunky Fresh. Good damage on the back side of this one. He's nearly going to land the stun. Ulti in from Ezreal. Oh! Wow, he takes down Seraph. Kez in the fight with Chunky Fresh forces the flash. Red buff is there. Prey Seeker not going to be lethal damage. Wow, what a kill. Now mid lane under fire. No one's here to defend it. The bot lane is just not here in time. Nintendo once again zones the team away. Really nicely played mid game by Fusion.
Huhi's ultimate for the kill on Seraph.
That's impressive.
It's one of those moments where you wish you had flash. You wish you had flash.
Or your mid laner called, hey, by the way, Ezult's going.
Nah, it's not his job. Not his job to do that. No. Dragon up, though. TDK do have a little bit of a position on this because of the backs from Fusion.
Oh, yeah.
They might be able to get Scuttle, but they're going to have to rush this down very quickly. They have a Blade of the Ruined King on Kyle. That's the saving grace here.
Ezreal comes in early. TDK should be able to stay. Chunky Fresh does not have teleport.
Oh,
Oh, no,
Nintendude!
Nintendude! Oh, he smites early, does not claim the dragon, goes to TDK. Will they re-engage? Aurelia teleport is almost back up, and there's a ward that they're running right over here, but Chunky does not show up on it. However, hold on, mid's under fire. So they got mid outer for dragon, which is totally worth it, but now mid tier 2. They've got inside track. Only 2 members of TDK are here.
You see Louis coming up on the side. It's going to take him a little while. Ooh, almost takes a spear for it, too. Mian does have his Trinity Force, so he's ready to knock down these turrets, and Fusion are ready to start crushing these just extra sources of gold income in the game. Pushing top, too. Chunky Fresh has control of this top wave.
Wow, this is really
and bottom
good play, yeah. I mean, and honestly, Trank's getting very good wards down. He just recalls, so he's got a full sight stone, and off the mid lane pressure, walks in northern jungle, gets some wards over, walks into east jungle, gets some more wards over. They've now got a minion wave bottom lane. They can rotate to that as well, and Fusion are playing the rotation game pretty well, but TDK are matching pretty much in step. There's no real damage coming to these turrets right now.
It's going to be just chunking it out, trying to throw spears on people while sieging, and if that lands, they can chunk somebody off of the objective and make it so they can't fight. The side wave manipulation of Fusion is what's paying off here, in the fact that they're keeping these side waves in check, but they don't have absolute control of the jungle just yet. They have a Pink Ward still in Nintendude's inventory. He has not placed that down in a place that will clear some vision for them. So if they can hold this type of position until the wards expire, it becomes much harder for TDK to get a grasp back on this game.
We'll see if that continues then with a 3,500 gold lead. Team Fusion doing a pretty good job of just keeping TDK from getting to do much anymore. The real objectives that TDK are, or the only real objectives TDK are getting are dragons. And they've almost been gifted away by Fusion, saying, yeah, we'd rather kill the turret. We'll show up the dragon late. If you get it, that's fine, whatever. We'll go for a steal, but that's all.
Damn.
With wards and gold still in the lead, Fusion look good.
Giving the blue buff over as Nidalee to the Corki.
Well, if his own blue is coming soon,
Yeah.
then that's kind of okay.
I mean,
And dude is going Roa, so he's going to have some mana.
maybe I'm just a greedy jungler, but
Lar.
Nidalee uses a lot of mana in sieges. Like, people are building Tyr and Roa on her for a reason.
Tier and? Or just...
Tyr or Roa.
Okay.
Some people go and.
Okay, that's fair. Like the
But-
Cassided.
You usually just go Roa into Azonia's or Deathcap, whichever one you want. Depends on how you're playing it. But people go for that mana item for a reason.
19.5-minute Rod of Ages picked up for Nintendo. The blue buff did just respawn here, so he might go for that himself. We will see. Iceborne Gauntlet done for Ezreal. Goes to Hui.
Okay, so they're looking for the siege poke here from the
80
carries. And Niantanso went Sork Shoes, so he's looking for the spell penetration.
Yep.
And
Standard.
Also, another thing here, too, is I keep thinking about the Nidalee Rod of Ages build and like how it came about. Another thing is you don't need boots on Nidalee very early on.
Oh, yeah.
So you don't drop money into tier 2 boots. So that's extra money you can allocate to getting the catalyst early, to getting that Rod of Ages completed. Is another reason it works on her.
Well, hard engaged by Trance, but maybe more than he wanted to do.
Nobody's
Gets
around
ulted by
yet.
Sona, but I'm not really sure why.
Yeah. No, nobody's really
Really
around
weird
to follow either party.
This
up.
team's not that bursty.
Yeah.
Like, there's some. I mean, Corki Ezreal is two of the burstier AD carries. There's not no burst, but it's not a ton.
They chunk Smoothie out. He's already back. They know he doesn't have his ultimate, so the counter engage chance is very low. Like, even if they get to the point where they're backdooring a turret, Trance has his ultimate. Alistar could just tank turrets as the double AD carries take them.
Yeah. And we'll see how the Fusion Siege actually goes. Chunky Fresh staying in the jungle, but getting poked down a little bit by Seraph. He doesn't have any backup right now.
Oh, that bottom wave is going to push out as well. Over time, Fusion is going to have this wave crash against TDK's tier 2 turret. So they have a lot of options available to them now.
They're getting some pretty meaningful damage now. They do check this out. Nice jump back by Louis GG. Actually gets away from the headbutt pulverize. The wave's going to reach the bottom turret right now. TDK already aware. Heading to the bottom lane. Fusion, though, pushing out mid. Nian's going to force someone to react to that soon. But Kyle's already here to the bot lane. Push this wave out to keep him safe. But careful, he's maybe overextended. Iceborne Gauntlet does not land. Trance does not cover the headbutt into the wall. But maybe the siege will work all the same. Fusion just staying grouped, keeping Aurelia topside. No engage happening for TDK. Their only engage is their top laner, and Seraph is being locked up by Chunky Fresh.
Seraph has his TP and his flash. He can go for another hero play, but right now he has to deal with Chunky Fresh, like you said. And he's definitely hurting in this top.
Oh, careful. Louis GG gets slowed up. Force a dash away. Oh, who he overextends. He ults in. In comes Zed. Great flash to keep himself alive on this one. In comes Kez. He wants this fight. In comes the re-engage. Nintendo forced to run away. Kyle in the front lines. Louis GG forced back. Great headbutt by Trance. But Nian goes in with flash. Gets the kill. Kez gonna be the second casualty. Kyle in the front lines. Headbutted up. Pulverized. Triple kill for Nian. Seraph trades one back in the top lane, but that's not gonna be enough. It's a 3-for-1 to Fusion.
And they're going to push down this tier 2 turret and start getting towards that base. Now, they get to set up for this dragon. It's up in 20 seconds. It'll be Fusion's first dragon of the game and denying the movement speed from TDK.
And it's going to be a really powerful recall here. 7,000 gold lead for Fusion. An uncontested dragon to give themselves some bonus AD. I expect some really big things to come in for the Fusion members after this.
The fight was extremely drawn out. And this is a team, poke comps, you usually want the fight to be drawn out. If people get blown up, it's not the fight you're looking for, especially when you're this squishy. Louis, too far forward, takes the main brunt of the damage there, and then Huhi barely survives. He's getting a lot of help there. And then Kez really wanted the fight. Nintendo also survives. Goes off to the side and tries to continue poking. And now it's Niantanso and Trance versus the world. But Nian knows his damage output. Kez walks back up to try and re-engage it, but Niantanso again kills Kyle with the Rumble ulti there.
Yeah. You know, Smoothie's ult was still down there on Sona. It's back now, but that one bad reaction crescendo was really the difference between that fight being won and lost. Nintendo got away with like 12 health right there. You saw Niantanso and Huhi really escaping with slivers left on their life bars as well. Crescendo would have been a very, very different fight.
Also, Chunky Fresh lost to Seraph in the top lane,
Yep.
and he almost had his ultimate back up. It was about 20 seconds away from being back up. if he had had that lifesteal and that extra damage to take out Seraph, it may have been the difference in that top lane too.
But it was not the case. So TDK, though they pick up a couple more kills on the scoreboard, you can see most of Bloodthirster is here for Huhi. It's already in for Neonton, so Face of the Mountain there for Trance, so these AD carries are actually quite durable right now. Louis loses a third of his health from the Ez ulti.
When you take the first hit of it, it doesn't have that fall-off damage yet from hitting minions. So when you're taking it straight to the face, it's definitely doing a huge chunk of your HP. And Louis not positioning himself, like 80 carries on the front line is always very, very risky. It's always a no-no.
And you're seeing what TDK is paying for when they buy all that armor. These Nintendo Javelins actually do quite a bit of damage. Smoothie's going for Mikhail's, not for a Locket. So really the Corki Phosphor Bombs, the Nidalee Javelins, those things are hitting for full damage here. And even the Ez ult as well. Like really there's more magic damage than you expect. I actually want to look at the damage dealt to champions graph just by team, physical versus magic. It's probably at least 1/3 magic by Fusion here. In fact, it's probably more than 1/3 magic.
Yeah, because Corki...
Yeah, Corki's actually usually more than half magic.
Yeah.
Ezreal's about 1/3, depending on how many Qs he lands. And Nidalee's like all. Yeah, it actually might be more magic than physical. The more I think about it, Fusion's probably doing more magic damage than physical with a double AD comp.
Especially since they don't have any crit either. Like, no IEs are coming out here. They don't care about that. They just care about enhancing their magic damage spells.
And we'll have to see. Actually, it's triple AD. They've got Aurelia top lane as well. I will be checking that graph and telling you guys after the game what that ends up being. But a 7,000 gold lead maintains for Team Fusion. They took down the bottom turret earlier. They got top lane tier 2 and inhibitor turret just recently. They do have one dragon to their name, so they've got that bonus AD. Which is kind of all you need. It doesn't seem like they really need Dragon 2 because they're not, it's not like the Tristana comp where they're like looking for cheeky damage. They're like just straight poking you off the turret, and then when you're gone, they'll take the turret down with, you know, in due time.
Oh, Muramana completed now for Huhi.
Who?
Huhi. The mid laner for Fusion.
Huhi.
It's Huhi.
I'm not sure I follow you. Are you talking about Kyle? But while you're busy facepalming, I'm watching Nintendo. Dude, invade on Louis GG. True shot barrage does not land. More like false shot barrage. But Louis GG running away from the end. Not fast enough. Kill comes in. 6 and 1 on Corki. 243 CS. Mid lane cleared up by TDK, but the top inhibitor, AD carryless. And they have a ward right there if they want Aurelia to teleport on it. Another ward just to make sure your positioning's good. TDK sweep it for good reason, but the inhib's gonna fall all the same.
And now Chunky Fresh has had all this time to just shove out that bottom wave. This is just even more pressure onto TDK from Fusion. Fusion's late game shot calling is getting better and better. The fact that they're able to come back from a deficit to TDK, and then that last fight where they were flanked and caught off guard was really big. Now, their splitting is on point. I think a big part of that is getting Chunky Fresh Aurelia.
Yep. Looks like he was able to more or less hold up against Seraph. And the thing is, this is what I like about how this got played, by the way, is Fusion just kept Seraph top lane. Like, okay, look, he got a kill once in a while, okay? He did take down Chunky Fresh that one time, but the fact that Seraph hasn't been allowed to be an impact player, he hasn't been allowed to TP in and fight the team because he'd lose his turret if that happened. Here we go, the crescendo comes in late. Kez isolated in the front line. He goes down. In goes Zed, gets some good damage on a Huhi, but Barrier is going to keep him safe, and they will trade kills back. It's a 3 for 0. It's a 4 for 0. Only Louis GG is alive, and in comes Chunky Fresh. Lands the slow, lands the double kill. Full house for Fusion. And then they go to the base. Waves are coming in right now.
Neontonso's over Chunky Fresh's. They're going to get this inhibitor as well. It'll be the second one for them.
This could be the game.
1 seconds.
This could be the game. They're staying for the bot lane turret. They're not clearing the minion waves out that could push into the Nexus. It looks like triple inhib, then recall is probably the game plan here. They just don't have the waves to push in much more. Alistar already recalls just to get some wards back down. So, 28.5 minutes in, you've got 12 super minions per minute spawning in towards TDK's base.
28 minutes. It's really hard to deal with those numbers. Super minions, already difficult by themselves, but the fact that you don't have persistent magic damage against them either. It's really kind of cannon in short little bursts.
Yeah. Cannon's actually one of the worst magic damage dealers in terms of clearing minion waves. His AoE is really not that good overall. Niantonso going to go ahead and solo this one down. Doesn't really need the turret damage buff anymore, but he's going to get it. Why the heck not? Take Dragon, it's up. Who cares? He's got a QSS in case he is the Zed target. Same thing comes in for Huhi. Their item build's almost identical here.
It's been another game of Niantonso being the late game teamfight AD carry. When he makes it out of the lane phase, that's where he shines, is in the late game. Is where he's able to position himself in teamfights. That's really his strength.
Fusion, I don't know why they're death brushing Baron. There's no way that TDK stops them. They have to defend their base. Yeah. And so they're going to quickly take Baron down, just kind of checking all the boxes. I almost wouldn't take this just because I want to use the double super waves to make sure that the base goes down, since the top and hit will respawn soon-ish. But Fusion saying, nope, we want the Baron buff first. Thing is, they're at half health. I want to see if they recall as well. But it looks like they'll just let Nidalee and Alistar give the team sustain. And now a Baron buffed double super minion wave coming down the mid lane. And TDK, 15,000 gold down, have to somehow defend this.
It's PvE time, baby. We saw
Fusion could not attack and win the team fight.
Yeah.
Probably.
If they just Baron buff up the minions, it's more than enough. The damage reduction.
They're going to go in anyway. Trance actually knocked back by Kez. The fight has started, but down goes Rek'Sai. 1-for-0. The re-engage, a nice crescendo. The ult on a Chunky Fresh, but Aurelia will survive. Second kill picked up now by Fusion. That's going to be a third onto Smoothie. And now on to the Nexus. Fusion dropping only 2 kills all game. They get vengeance on TDK.
Extremely methodical game there. Once they had the lead, they just pressed it very slowly, split pushed, great wave manipulation there. The rotations were on point.
Yep.
Very clean win from Fusion.
All right, so good things happened there. The fact that they had that lane lead in the bottom. That just level 5 happened. Headbutt pulverize, burst people out. They fought again. Whoops, killed Sona too for no reason.
First bomb.
Yeah, Smoothie, this was one of the worst, unfortunately, games I've seen from him. He gave away a free kill to Corki in that bottom lane at level 6. He waits a crescendo on just Alistar. That meant it was down for the next team fight. Those two things don't happen. That were just purely individual misplays. I think TDK has a better shot in this game. But once Fusion got the lead, right? Those misplays happened, but Fusion capitalized on them. Once those things happened, they did an absolutely beautiful job of controlling the game, taking good team fights, and closing the game out.
Yeah, the fact that they were able to close it out so methodically and easily showed that TDK playing from behind is very difficult for them to do so, especially with this comp.
Yeah.
Kennen does not operate very well from behind. No. That's the big thing, is when you run in with the slicing maelstrom, it then starts tickling 3 people at once. And it's like, great. It did, like, it wasn't the huge massacring ahead Kennen that you want it to be.
Yeah.
And giving Chunky Fresh and Aurelia something that he can split push on and be very confident on is, I think, a mistake.
Yeah, and again, it held down that really big trump card that TDK had in, Kennen should be good. Kennen should be good in this team comp. Alistar notwithstanding, okay, maybe you have to outplay Headbutt with the Zonias, but the fact that he was not allowed to team fight because Chunky Fresh got a split push top. So I told you guys to tell you the damage graph. So the team total for damage output for Team Fusion, overall damage, 49k to champions. Physical, 19. Magic, 27. Roughly 40% physical, 60% magic. The double AD comp doing mostly magic damage, and yet you had Ninja Tabby come in for the jungler on Rek'Sai. You had armor items come in. The Zonia's coming in, not meaning very much. That is one thing I really like about Corki Ezreal. Their magic damage footprint is pretty high overall, and hey, it was a well-played game overall.
There's not a single magic resist item on anybody except for Smoothie. He gets himself Spectre's Cowl, and that's it. Everybody else has at least one armor item on them, including boots, except for Louis.
Yeah. And I mean, that is going to bias the graph, because if you do have armor, you do decrease the physical damage output. But overall, really obviously high magic damage footprint. Good job on the double AD comp. Good things happened there. But our final game of the night is in the books. So here's a look at the updated Challenger standings. Enemy Esports is still in sole possession of first place with 4 games still to play.
Again, after that, Final 5 is in second with a 4-2 record. Then it's TDK and Team Fusion tied up in third with CLG Black in 5th and TSM Darkness still in last place.
Well, a dark outlook for both those teams down there, but with games to play, there's still a chance to climb back up. There is more Challenger action in 2 weeks when CLG Black goes up against Team Fusion. Then it's TDK against Final 5. A lot of battles in the middle there, and we will close out the day with TSM Darkness against Enemy Esports.
Of course, we don't have anything next week because of IEM Katowice, but you also don't want to miss Week 7 of the EU LCS. That kicks off tomorrow with Meet Your Makers versus Giants Gaming, then H2K and Gambit Gaming face off with SK Gaming and Fnatic headlining the day. It all starts at 6 p.m. Central European Time, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Well, that's all from us today here at the Challenger Desk, but we'd like to say thanks again to our guests, Angel and Otter from Enemy Esports, and on behalf of myself, maybe Zyrene, and the live broadcast crew, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Definitely Zyrene. See you guys.
Didn't want to speak for you. Goes in, gets the Entanso, and here comes Seraph. Gets headbutted back in. He's just zoned away, but the burst comes through. Deathmark in as well. He's nearly going to land the stun. Ulti in from Ezreal. Oh, wow. He takes down Seraph. Luigi G forced back. Great headbutt by Trance, but Nian goes in with Flash, gets the kill. Kez can be the second casualty. Kyle in the front lines. Headbutted up. In goes Zed. Gets some good damage on Ahuhi, but Barrier is going to keep him safe, and they will trade kills back. It's a 3 for 0. It's a 4 for 0. Trance actually knocked back by Kez. The fight has started, but down goes Rek'Sai. 1 for 0. The re-engage, a nice crescendo.
Yo, man, look at me, man. I got all the jewels. Look at my shoes, man. I'm sharp. Man, I look good, right, I look good, right, I look exactly the way you wish you could. I look good, right, I look good, right, come on. I'm in love with a girl that I call old school. Sipping on my brandy, I'm feeling brand new. Got the feather in my hat because I'm just that cool. You peeping at my alligators bent kinda slow. They peeping at me pimping cause I got all the game. And even if the day change, it's all the same. You rolling up the block, but you in the wrong lane. You hating on a brother, man, you must be insane. I look good. I look good. I look exactly the way you wish you could. I look good. I look good. Come on. I look good, I look good, I look exactly the way you wish you could. I look good, I look good, come on. Joe said that I'm the best in the West. I got the girl singing, damn, look at how he dressed. No need to guess, just bless my finesse. I keep him in a mess, all up in this caress. Jeans, fitted, shirt, knitted. Man, she need to quit it, she already did it. She gotta be Latina cause she look mixed with it. She all up on me, so I guess she gonna get it. I look good, I look good, I look exactly the way you wish you could. I look good, I look good, come on. I look good, I look good, I look exactly the way you wish you could. I look good, I look good, come on. Right, come on. Right, come on. Right, come on. I look good, right.